So, Fuzz, are you ready for this 3.5 hour ride of fun with us?
No.
I mean, I'm all aboard the hate train, baby. I drank my haterade this morning. I'm ready to get the hate on.
Oh, yeah.
I knew this was
And Bungie has provided you ammo today, sir.
To be fair, I looked it up. He was last on the show last year around the same time when Solstice was around, and I didn't go back and listen to the show, but I'm pretty sure he was angry then. So he's kept the rage up for the whole year.
Well, I mean, Bungie hasn't really hasn't sated his anger yet, so why wouldn't he be?
I mean, it's not like Bungie's really done anything to meet my expectations. It's just been disappointment after random gun nerf after reinstatement.
Yeah, which is what this week's rant is about, guys, so buckle up and wait for that.
So it's welcome to 2 respawns and a Sighing Nitedemon this week.
Welcome to 2 Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at 2titansandaHunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at 2titans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
So welcome to the show. I'm Nitedemon, joined by Respawn, and still away for another week because he still thinks he can have more holiday than the rest of us put together.
How dare
We are
you.
now. Yeah, I know. Peroty he's going to pay for it when he comes back. He's reading the whole TWAB for the next 6 years. So-
No, that means our viewers are going to pay for it. Don't make them suffer.
Parody is just the worst.
It is.
When it comes to reading, we need someone literate to read it. Jiminy Christmas.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that kind of person, we have brought in a substitute Peroty for this second week in the row, and backed by popular demand, it's Fuzko.
Hey all, thanks for having me. I'm ready to, get on this party and start bashing on Parody. It's going to be a great time.
Parody bashing to the extreme.
So, quick introduction, Fuzko. Who are you?
I am at this point, greatly disenfranchised Destiny 2 raider.
Okay.
Who's got something around 1,500 hours of playtime. I've done every in-game activity you can do, and or are you asking more like personal stuff?
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
You can
whatever
you
you
can
feel
tell
like
us
telling
personal
us.
stuff if you like. What was it like growing up?
Did you have a happy childhood?
Yeah. Does it affect your Destiny gameplay now?
Well, it all started when I was about 6 years old. My grandfather got me my first BB gun,
Mm.
and we started building snowmen in the backyard, and we dressed them up as aliens. And I think that's where my love of shooting aliens started. Tender age of 6.
Is that true? Did you really dress them up
That's
as
amazing.
aliens?
Sure did. Put sticks on their heads like antennae, and was a big fan of the old Mars Attacks movies, if you recall those.
I
Yeah.
do. Me and my kid watched one the other day. Still good.
Yeah. I like Mars Attacks. My kids didn't understand it. They were like, no, we don't get this, and just walked out of the room. I was killing myself laughing when they went, but no, they just didn't like it.
Do it again? What were they
I'm
doing?
I'm not doing it again.
What? No, I didn't hear you the first time. I need you to say it again.
Never mind.
And I'm currently sitting through a nice slog of Vanguard tokens.
Cool.
I started at a balmy 8,500 tokens, and over the last couple
Wow.
of days, I've whittled it down to about 2 and change now.
2,000?
Yeah.
So that's a good reminder for everybody else out there, isn't it? Go through your Vanguard tokens and burn them at Zavala and get shards for it, basically. The weapons aren't that
Basically.
good.
How many shards do you have now?
3,488.
Wow. Oh, God. After buying all this stuff for leveling up armors and this and that and the other, I'm down to 500. Damn.
You're not that poor. You're
I am
fine.
that poor.
No.
I am.
So, Fuzz,
Shards are expensive.
you still play the game regularly, don't you?
I do, yeah.
and you've got some good opinions on the game. Good feedback for Bungie here.
I don't know if it's good,
It is
but it is feedback.
Oh, well, we can get into that just in a bit later, can't we? But first, I can go through next week in Destiny with you guys. So, Solstice of
can.
Heroes continues with Grandma Stranger Danger in the tower. So, go and visit her to get started. We can stop Peroty in the Modular Mind in the weekly Nightfall strike. And if you're unsure about what that is the inverted Spire strike because they didn't want to name it this week. So, that would be your Grandmaster for this week as well. And Lord Shax will bring Clash to the Crucible. So, make him proud. And Clash is just basically team deathmatch. Go in, get the kills. That's it.
Best mode ever.
Throw more grenades, Guardian.
No, that's Mayhem.
You heard me. I said grenades.
Okay, you heard him. Go throw some grenades.
All of the grenades. If you have grenades when the match is over, you've done something horribly, horribly wrong.
And we are up to week 10 in our Eververse calendar and our seasonal challenges. And they've updated the Eververse calendar for the solstice. So I can now go through everything that's on the calendar. So we have the Emote Juggler, which is the exotic emote this week, coming up for silver. So that's going to be 1,000 silver. And apparently the micro mini sparrow that was available for the last couple of years that you could get with Bright Dust is only available this season or this solstice for silver. And that's going to be, I don't remember how much that's going to be. That's going to be 800 silver. Then we have the Buoyant Trap Ghost Shell, which is the blow up shark ghost shell looking thing. That's available for silver this week coming up, which is 600 silver. And then we have the Roller Dance emote, and that's going to be 500 silver. And then we have our Power Rising emote for Bright Dust, and that's 3,250 Bright Dust this week coming up. We have the Predator Sun Shell, which is 2,850 Bright Dust. The Golden Rider Sparrow, which is going to be 2,500 Bright Dust. We have the Oiled Algae shader. So this is a good one. I recommend getting this one. This is the one that Peroty went on about for quite some time, wasn't it? That made the Titans completely shine. Do you remember this one?
Not just Titans. Every class was like the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for 300 Bright Dust this week. We have the Breathe In emote, and that's 3,250 Bright Dust. We have the Shader Shell. That is the ghost shell with the large glass on its face. That's 2,850 Bright Dust. Last year's Sparrow, which is the one that looks like the Indiana Jones boat from Last Crusade, and that is for 2,500 Bright Dust. We have On Gilt Wings, which is another Sparrow, and that's 2,500. We have the Sweltering Heat emote for 700 Bright Dust. The Breach Header 6, which is your ornament for the Merciless, and that's 12,050 Bright Dust. And your Crab Projection, which is 500 Bright Dust. So that's next week, number 10.
I gotta say, Nitedemon, that micro mini sparrow is probably my second favorite sparrow of all time that Bungie's done.
Second
I think
favorite.
I think it's Respawn's favorite.
My favorites are the sharks, but as far as like hilarity value, yeah, no, it's funny. I like it. But my favorite sparrows are the ones with the sharks on them. So.
Plus it takes the shaders really well. You can throw that safety or the bumblebee on it. It's just that bright ass orange or yellow in your face.
Yep.
Or you throw a red on there and you look like you're the mini red baron just cruising around, or a very angry Donkey Kong from Mario Kart.
See, what you could also do is there's a legendary version of that sparrow, the mini, and it's got a little point on the front of it, and I have that one, and it's a 160, and I painted it to look like a yellow jacket. So it's a mini sparrow with a stinger, and it looks like a yellow jacket. I think that is hilarious.
So if the mini one is your second favorite, what's your favorite, Fuzz?
Oh, see, it's the About Time. Not About Time.
Let's go to the past.
Always on time?
That's always on time.
There
Go
you
to the
go.
past one, yeah. Yeah, I like that one as well.
Because when we were raiding constantly, that
Yeah.
that was the sparrow to get as a drop.
Indeed.
And it was probably the most fun and satisfying sparrow to earn.
Yeah.
How did you earn it, Fuzko?
Well, I got it from a drop from the Scourge of the Past raid from that delightful little Sparrow Servitor run, which is probably still my single favorite raid mechanic Bungie's introduced in Destiny 2.
And then they vaulted it.
And they said, ha ha ha, you're having fun. No more fun for you.
Right?
But the reason why they had to do that was because they had to clear out that quarter to put the Elixir in. So, be fair, it was to shelter the Elixir.
There's lots of
But-
other things they could have gotten rid of than the one
No.
fun raid.
No, they had to get rid of it. They had to
No,
close it down.
that's fine, but they could have reused that mechanic since they love recycling material so much. They could have recycled the fun bits
They
instead
might
of
do.
taking the hackneyed sparrow nonsense they have for Deepstone Crypt, of which nobody likes.
Wow. Speaking of raids, you didn't mention it in your intro, but Fuzko is the PC official raid leader. He's the guy we all look to when we try to put raids together, and normally he's the guy who's in on the raid, and he's also the Sherpa of Sherpas. So whenever somebody on PC needs to learn a raid, Fuzko is the guy that teaches them. And whenever we all have crossplay and we have all of our Xbox players that start playing with the PC players, especially for the raids, Fuzko is gonna have a lot of time.
It's going to
to
have a nervous
freaking-
breakdown.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's gonna
Teaching
have
a
to show
whole
them.
lot of night demons how to do a raid
No,
when they
be-
do the literal
no.
opposite of what you tell them to do.
No, don't be nasty.
It's just
People
it's
aren't
just going to
like
be the
me.
return of angry raid dad, and he's going to tell you what to do. He's not going to be mad at you. He's just going to be really disappointed when you can't tell your left from your right.
Yeah. no.
I figured that out already, dude. Why you gotta bring that up?
Or, using war mind cells on oracles.
That happened once and then I took it off, okay? And I was the one that figured out what was causing it. Thank you, sir. And I addressed the issue. All right?
Ah, see, you think that one's you. There are tons of people in LFG who still use war mind cells on oracles and absolutely the run.
Well, if you can't learn after the first time it happens, you don't deserve to be raiding. I'm sorry.
It's a public service announcement sponsored by Fuzko there. Don't
Yeah.
use war mind cells in the oracles
Don't.
on Fourth Glass.
It's a bad idea. Very bad idea.
It's a good way to make your entire raid hate you.
Yeah.
So, week 10, we're on the final week of the challenges for Season of the Splicer. And we have a couple just left in the database. There are 4 for this final week. And that will give you at least another, I think we've got another 6 weeks left of the season, haven't we, Respawn? If you have a look at your season pass, you'll be able to tell
Yeah,
us.
it said like 48 days, something like that. It says
Season Pass says 45 days,
45
2
days.
hours.
Yep.
There you go. So by the time you hear this, we've still got about 40 days left in the season to complete all 10-week challenges. So we have Split Focus, which is defeat combatants with melee, grenades, and super abilities. Bonus progression for combatants defeated in Override or Expunged. And that will give you 4 times extra large XP. And I think it's up to 250 data decryption that you get from that. Threads of Light, defeat combatants in Override while wearing Season of Splicer armor, with bonus progression for each subsequent piece equipped. Additionally, deposit data motes in Override, and that will give you 4 times XP and the decrypted data as well. So those are those 2 big ones. And then you've got Explosive Collaboration. Collaborate explosive weapons, grenade launchers, and rocket launchers. Bonus progression against Guardians, and that's 4 times extra large XP and Bright Dust. And then Elemental Gambit. Complete Gambit matches with each elemental subclass, and that'll probably just be a tick box of do one with Solar, do one with Arc, do one with Stasis, etc. And that'll give you 4 times extra large XP and some more Bright Dust. And that's your final week of challenges.
Huzzah and Bazinga. Probably
And-
shouldn't use that. Just huzzah.
And above, as we went over last week, the YouTuber above has got his Grandmaster guides for the Nightfalls. I've updated the Fallen Saber Strike that has just been this last week. He's still got his guides for the Inverted Spire that is for next week, and I'm guessing he'll update that again once he's done that run. So keep an eye on that, but they are in the show notes if you want to have a look at that. Cheese Forever has also got an easy solo Warsat available for the Fallen Saber Strike, so you can open this every single time, even on the Grandmasters with this cheese, and that's in the show notes. Then we have the Lost Sectors for next week, Monday, the 12th of July. We have Abontis on the Moon, giving you his K1 Revelations guide for legs. They'll be up. Tuesday, the 13th, we have PV Shifty on Europa in the Concealed Void, and that will give you your gauntlets that day. Wednesday, we have Time Sausage Gaming Channel on Europa in Bunker E15, and that'll be your chests. Thursday, the 15th, on Europa again, Time Sausage Gaming has got Petition, and that'll be your helmets for that day. Friday, the 16th, will be Abontis again on the EDZ in the Quarry, and that'll give you your legs for the second week, for the second time that week. Saturday, the 17th, will be Abontis again on the Scavenger's Den on the EDZ, and that'll give gauntlets. And then Sunday, you've got the evacuation site on the EDZ, and that'll give you a chest, and it's by Legionless. And again, as Fuzko pointed out at the top of the show, reminder, start using your Vanguard tokens before the end of the season. There was a quick notice flashed up on the screen this week for every Guardian that logged in, I think, past Wednesday, just reminding you, if you've got tokens, go and burn them at Zavala just to get those kind of used. Otherwise, they'll be useless at the end of the season. And a quick one, Bungie Day. They gave us the ramen code for the emblem. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? It's the ramen.
Spicy ramen emblem, wouldn't it?
Spicy ramen emblem. That'll do.
Yeah.
So if you want to input that into the Bungie rewards, if you go to the Bungie page on the website and go to redeem code, it's Yankee Romeo Charlie 3 Delta Yankee November Charlie.
Look at you knowing phonetics. I'm proud of you.
Okay. So yeah, that was that.
So I have a question because I've redeemed it, right? And I apparently had a bunch of other stuff in there to redeem from raids I've done, right?
Yeah.
I redeemed these codes, but they're not in my inventory. They're not in my postmaster. Where are they?
I believe if you go under the general tab in your not in your emotes, in your emblems,
Uh-huh.
you should find it in there.
But won't they be all lit up and shiny like, hey, you got a
No.
new one?
No, it doesn't.
No, they're not.
No.
Okay. So they're probably in there. I just didn't see them because nothing was shiny. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it should be on the last page. They kind of add them to the last page of
Let's
that
see.
part of the book. Have a look. Well, we're live
Having
on the
a
show.
look.
You show people on
Oh,
the
we're
stream.
live. Okay. So it's not there. Okay. Flare. There we go. Shader. Oh no, here it is right here.
Okay,
General
emblems.
emblem. Oh. Pop. And yeah, there it is. A classy order. Oh,
There you go. It's under the generals
would
tab,
you
isn't
look
it?
at that? Yeah, it is. And it
Okay.
wasn't shiny or anything, which I think it should be. Oh, and there's my heart emblem from forever ago that I never knew.
You just
All right.
finally found it.
There you go, guys.
Don't know.
It doesn't light up for you. You just kind of have to look for it.
Oh,
Anyway,
dear, what you
moving
like.
on.
So yeah, we had Bungie Day this past Wednesday, just before the 12th, on the 7th of the 7th. We had Bungie Day, and they went into some detail about what's coming. They are excited to tell us some news. There's going to be a save the date for August 24th, a Destiny 2 showcase for what's coming up for season of whatever it's called.
Isn't it called Redacted? Because
Yeah,
it's so clever when they keep using that same line over and over again.
it's probably redacted, but survive the truth on August 24th. So save the date, and they'll probably tell us more about the Witch Queen. Maybe more about what's coming after August 24th and beyond in the next season that we're getting. They also tell us about the Bungee Foundation and how much money they wanted to raise. I do believe they did post on Twitter that they have reached most of their goals. There are some emblems available, and there's a Bungee Foundation emblem with a heart on it. There's the Circadian Guardian emblem. There's a new buoyant shell that's available. It looks like a balloon basically with a heart on it. There's the tiny tank emote, which looks pretty cool. And then there's some cool art and merchandise available on the Bungie store. So if you want to help raise some money for them. And then if you missed the code that I read out for the spicy emblem, then they do have that on the page, and I will link that in the show notes if anybody does want to have a look at that. So yeah, happy Bungie Day.
Yeah,
you
I,
guys have a
I
nice
totally missed that
day?
code. I'm gonna have to put that in later.
Well, we have it in the chat. We have that code with a bunch of other codes in the chat.
Well, you do. It's your special
I
one.
do?
Yeah,
Oh, it's my special one. Well, then I'll just post it while I'm here.
I have been really bad about entering in codes on the Bungie reward site.
But are you an emblem guy? Do you really care that much?
I got my emblem unlock from that Ava 1 event back when Black Armory was a thing. Got my Prometheus Lens Day emblem, and after that, I just kind of didn't care.
I know what you mean, Fuzko, about the emblem. The Black Armory one. I did that secret code to get the ghost shell, the emblem. I did I think it was the outbreak mission to get the ship, and the Scourge of the Past to get the sparrow. So I've kind of got the full set, and I'm pretty proud that I've got the full set of it, and I haven't taken it off since. So I said I was going to keep it on for a good year.
Oh yeah, it's like I put in the time and effort to earn those, and they
Oh, yeah.
are some of my favorites. They look cool. The effort was worth the grind.
Yeah, that Black Armory puzzle where you had to kind of go through those 7 different waves to, I think that was to get the ghost shell, wasn't it? And the emblem. That was so hard.
Yes, it was. That was such a pain.
But
You did it, Fuzz?
it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, Pale Rider Peace Pipes and I sat through on a Saturday afternoon and slogged through it. It was a good time.
Wow.
I think Bungie should do that more often with like you can go and do this part of this quest, or you can go and do this raid and do this lost sector, and you can literally kind of collect the whole set of like the ghost, the sparrow, the ship, the emblem, and kind of tie it all together, because it looks pretty cool when you've got the full set. But they haven't really kind of capitalized on that as much.
Because why
No,
would they?
no. I mean, I really enjoyed like the Whisper mission and getting the Thousand Wings, and like they tried to do it with the Hawk Moon one, and I got that ship as well, but I don't know,
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel the same as the way the other ones did. It didn't hit the same, you know?
No. I mean, there are certain things in Destiny 2 that don't hit the same way as that Destiny 1 did, and I can't quite
Like all
put
of
my finger
Destiny
on it.
2?
No, not all of it, but there are certain things that they did so well in Destiny 1 that they haven't brought over into Destiny 2, or they've tried to reproduce it, but kind of how they haven't kind of hit that mark of how they did it in Destiny 1.
Do you have an example in mind?
I'd say raids, mainly raids, because I remember raiding weekly for doing I can't remember all the name of the raids, but Kingsfall I would do religiously, and then
Wrath of the Machine?
Wrath of the Machine. There you go. I remember doing those ones over and over again, and I can't remember. I mean, I had all the armor, I had all the weapons, but it was just kind of I just enjoyed doing it each week, and I'd do it on all 3 characters, and I think the priority now seems to be shifted towards I've got to get my light up, I've got to get my artifact power up to do see if I can get in that final week to do like the Grandmaster Nightfall to get a triumph done. It doesn't seem to be as enjoyable in the same way as it used to be in Destiny 1.
They turned up the grind and turned down the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've increased the replayability factor by, like you said, turning up the grind or whatever. Even though I don't think that really creates replayability, that just creates aggravation. But be that as it may.
I mean, while we're on this topic and I've got you guys here,
Yeah.
let's talk about some of the raids and this new master raid that you can kind of do the Grandmaster version of it. Have you guys actually tried doing any of it yet?
I'm still 2 light level below the threshold, so no.
I have not attempted to do the master version yet. I was probably going to do that tomorrow or Monday
Okay.
because I was going to have time then to sit down and do it.
Yeah.
But it feels like they brought back prestige mode from the Leviathan. A little
Yeah.
bit harder, some new enemies, some new quirks.
But it's different from Destiny 1, whereas the Destiny 1 hard mode raids were hard mode first was created and then scaled back for normal. They've kind of it looks like they've just thrown more champions at you and made them hit harder. Would you say, from what you can see at the moment, because you haven't been in there?
Well, they have to make them hit harder because the power gap is different now. Not the power gap, the power. just our Guardian's power in general, right? We have a whole nother ability that we didn't have in Destiny 1, right? So in Destiny 1, if you remember, you only had 2 class abilities. Now we have 3, right? You got your melee, your class ability, and then your grenade. Back then, you just had the class ability and then the grenade, right? I don't think you had an empowered melee, did you? Isn't
Yeah,
that the one that was missing? Yeah.
we had melee.
So, yeah. The supers we have are different and more powerful. I mean, just everything about our Guardians is more powerful. Everything from abilities to weapons, right? So yeah, things
Yeah,
are going to hit harder because we hit harder, you know?
regardless of that, I think the difference is because hard mode was the thing that they created first, and it had actual mechanics. I mean, you
Mm.
remember doing Golgoroth in Kingsfall Raid. There was a
Yeah.
mechanic to how you did that, and a strategy to doing it. And the same with killing Oryx in the final encounter, making sure you got all those bombs to blast at the same time, which then you could take that into the normal version and teach teams in the normal version, which was quite nice. So there were mechanics to it before, and damage gating in those encounters. I mean, even War Priest was damage gated. You could only do certain amount of damage in a certain amount of time.
Right,
And
but that's aggravating. People hate that. You know,
yeah,
we like the idea of being
you
able
say
to one
that, but
phase or
then
try to one phase. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean, you could near enough one phase War Priest. You could. I can't remember if Oryx was. I mean, it was a very long time ago. But
Can
I think,
confirm, we do hate it.
Yeah. See, it's not fun whenever it purposely cuts you off from being able to do as much damage as possible. Because then, what's the point? You know, they're forcing you to have a longer encounter for no good reason, just to stretch it out. It's like, no, let me do the encounter so I can move on to the next one and do what I need to do. Don't force me to stay here because I'm too powerful. That's ridiculous.
yeah, I get that, but I think that's what made the raids different in Destiny 1 to what they are in Destiny 2. Just throwing
Yeah.
more champions at you and they hit harder is.
Well, and then
I
the
think it's
raids
a cheaper way.
themselves were put together differently, right? So Wrath of
Yeah.
the Machine is my favorite one from D1, right? I loved how that worked mechanically speaking and also visually. I mean, I think it was a great raid. Conversely, you have not the Deep Stone Crypt, the one where we got the Sparrow.
Yeah,
What the hell was
Scourge
that
of the
called? Fuck?
Past.
Scourge of the Past. That's right. Yeah. So Scourge of the Past, I think, was really, really well done. It was fun mechanically and visually speaking, right? But aside from those 2 examples, not a lot of the raids have been mechanically fun, right? Now, we've had 2 visually stunning ones, right? So we had the one last season where you're out in space, visually beautiful, right?
The
Mechanically,
Deep Stone Crypt spacewalk was
yeah,
gorgeous. The
it
art
is.
team did phenomenal. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Mechanically,
it
I
was great.
hate it.
To be fair, I only hated the Atrax portion of it, right? Everything else was okay.
That's fair. But that
Yeah.
whole Atrax portion ruins the raid for me. Like
It
that,
does.
my dislike of that one encounter makes me not want to do Deep Stone Crypt. Period.
Hmm. But if they hadn't done that, or if they had done that differently, that would be another great example of a raid, you know? But those are few and far between, and now they're just regurgitating old raids, which, to be fair, was cried out for by the community, right? I guess nostalgia or whatever kicked in, and they wanted that back or whatever. Which
In Bungie's defense here, which I realize that's a surprise, we got VOG with a season pass, like
Yeah.
off of a DLC. Which, if this is going to be a new like constant, like we get expansion, new raid, and then off season we get a return to old raid, that's actually kind of cool. I will give them that. That's a way to kind of reintroduce content, give us a little bit more to do, and they're able to give the community what it wants while recycling assets, which they do love to do.
No, you want them to recycle assets from D2, like the old raids that we, previously mentioned that were good, or D1 content, like
Little column A, little column B.
no, okay.
I think the
All
thing
right.
is, they missed a trick, didn't they, bringing back Vault of Glass? Because we had a Vex season, they could have tied it into the story, and so just an item in the database or a lore page, basically saying that Quarry had brought back or was trying to bring back Atheon, and there were certain elements in that raid that they just tiny little details that they could have put in for
Yeah,
a
but to be
reason
fair,
why.
Bungie's always missing those kinds of moments. It's hindsight 2020 kind of thing.
Well, they did well with the Vex Offensive and Garden of Salvation. That one was tied in together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I think actually that's the only one I can think of.
that's probably the only one that they've done. In
yeah.
D2, anyway.
You did have the Deepstone Crypt, which tied in with the story, and when spoilers, something happens when it was finally completed the first time that then impacted the world. Whereas, again, this could have
Well, if
had
that's the case, you could say the same thing about the Wish Wall and Shuro.
yeah,
That's Shirochi. The hell.
yeah, Last Wish.
Yeah, but I'm trying to
Riven
think of
in
the
the Last
dragon's
Wish.
name. Riven,
Riven.
yes, Riven.
Yeah, and I think they could have done the same with Vault of Glass. They could have done Vault of Glass normal mode came out, but then for some reason at the end of it, it shows you that you haven't fully defeated Atheon, and then when they brought the master mode out this week, at that point it then tied in with the story to say that you then in the master mode, the first team that brought them down has then brought the Endless Night to a collapse. They could have tied it in.
They could have. And thanks, Plant, for what you said. Yeah, no, they could have, but they always miss these golden opportunities. Not always. That's
Not
you shouldn't speak in absolutes like that. But a lot of the time, I would say most of the time, they miss these kind of opportunities. And somebody like us brings it up after the fact. Well, you could have, you should have. Why didn't you? Kind of scenario. Well, I mean, yeah, it's how it is. 2020 being what it is. Hindsight being 2020. So
what I hope
ho-
for. I was gonna say,
hope for
what
them to do it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I hope
Learn
for them
from
to
their
do it in the
mistakes.
future. I mean, they've got the Witch Queen coming up, so they've got the potential of Crota coming back. They've got the potential of Oryx and that whole raid coming back. So I'd like to see it be tied into the story. Yes, it's under the Legends tab, but just have it at some point. There is some reason why we're going back, not just for the pure fact that the fans want it back and they're just going to rehash it and put it back in with the weapons and the armor.
Well, I mean, from the lore perspective, if she learned how to do it like her brother did, could potentially bring all of them back at the same time. And we could have all the old raids back. The Taken raid, the freaking all the raids. Even the D1 raid where I always forget that damn guy's name. The guy that takes people. His raid could potentially come back.
Kingsfall.
Crota. Yeah, Kingsfall. So I mean, if she can,
Yeah.
I don't want to say how it happens inside the lore, but if she learns how to do it, like her other brothers and sisters have come back, right? She could easily bring back all the raids, and we have to do all that nonsense all over again. Obviously, it would have to be different, slightly, because hopefully they would have learned from their past mistakes, being how we killed them and all, right? So, but it's possible, if she comes back, she could do that.
So Fuzz, are you for the raids? Are you more into the weapons and the armor, or is it just for the pure fun of playing those raids and beating it?
So initially it's for the loot, right?
Yeah.
I want the god rolls. I want the cool new guns. And then it's I go back and then I appreciate the story and collect all the collectibles, like get the pearl shader from Vault of Glass and been
I
working
still
my
need to
way
do
through
that.
the challenges, and it's
Yeah.
I do it mostly initially for the guns and loot, and then for the fun.
And the
But
seals and things. Yeah, I understand.
yep, I've been knocking out the raid seals and the titles. So
But do you, again, I think Bungie missed a trick with the raid gear. I mean, I understand why they put the same stuff, the same raid armor from Destiny 1 back into the Vault of Glass. But then they did miss a trick with when they made it a master version of the Vault of Glass, bringing back that cool, sick, glowing armor that we had when they reprised the raids in Destiny 1. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
It was a complete different set of armor that had like little Vex glowing bits on it, and that could have been the armor that was available in the Grandmaster, which I think would have made more people want or have a desire to go and play that mode to see if they could get that armor, because that would
Guys
be
just having
fantastic.
adept
for Infinite.
weapons only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's going to be something that if they do that, they're going to put it in the Eververse probably.
yeah, and I
We
think the other thing is they haven't brought back all the weapons from Destiny 1. They didn't bring back the Praetorian foil. They didn't bring back the pulse rifle. I think it was Praetor's timepiece
Greatest Revenge.
or something. Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
I can't honestly. I would
I
look it
think
up.
it's Greatest Revenge.
But yeah, it was the pulse rifle, and I was really looking forward to it when they said they were bringing back Vault of Glass. I thought I really like that pulse rifle. It was one of the ones I really desired about getting. I wasn't a Fate bringer. Well, yeah, I wasn't a Fate bringer kind of person. I liked the pulse rifle, and I liked hunting down the fusion rifle. Do you remember that? The fusion rifle, there was like it was a mythical thing. It was nearly as bad as trying to get the Vex Mythoclast. It was the Praetorian foil, and it had the perk with the glass half full, and it was the only fusion rifle that could roll with that. And it was like a one-hit kill in PvP. And I remember lots of people trying to get it, and I think I got one to drop, literally one in all the raids that I've done in Destiny 1. But
Oh,
yeah,
talk about disappointing raid exotics.
Right?
what with your Vex Mythoclast?
Yeah.
And it just got buffed, and it's still.
No, it's not buffed yet. It's going to get buffed.
Oh, apology. Going.
Yeah. It's going to get buffed.
It'll probably fall in the vein of the linear fusion rifles. You can keep buffing it. I'm still not going to use them.
Well, I mean, the reason people don't use the linears is because of the charge time, right? I mean, if you're gonna have that charge time, why not just choose a sniper or something else? But if it's a full auto, then yeah, it would absolutely be usable, Fuzz. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Because that eats an exotic, and they have not they nerfed primary exotics to the point where they're unusable for like end game DPS.
Yeah.
Okay, but if they buffed it such that it A didn't have that long charge time and B was a powerful gun, there's other backups like rocket launchers are good now. You don't have to have an exotic in the heavy slot, you know. And especially when it's not nerfed yet, but when Anarchy gets nerfed, that's going to change a lot of people's heavy loadouts, dude. So yeah, I mean, it absolutely could be a thing that you would use full time, depending on how depending on how Anarchy gets nerfed and how heavies overall feel. So yeah,
I think it didn't
I can
help
totally
with
see it.
putting a mod on your artifact called Breach and Clear, which then gave grenade launchers a buff, which is going to be going away potentially unless they put it back on the artifact or make it available next season.
Why? Grenade launchers were good before we had it.
Yeah, but they weren't the go-to to use in raids as much, were they? I mean, apart from Anarchy.
I mean,
What
we
was the
also
name of
have a
that
new grenade
void?
launcher.
There was that void grenade mod a couple seasons ago that keeps coming back that did a damage debuff, kind of like Breach and Clear does.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. Because we use it with vortex grenades for the hunters. But I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, I know what you mean. And that'll come back whenever the grenade launchers go away, so we still have a debuff. You know? No, I'm sorry, not the grenade launchers, the grenade launcher mod, right? And to be honest, people still use grenade launchers. They use the mountaintop, and then it got nerfed, and now people use the salvager salvo, right? Both very good grenade launchers, especially for ad clear, which is basically what a raid is. Outside of the mechanics, it's ad clear. So a salvage salvo with chain reaction is going to clear out a whole group of ads with one shot. So yeah, it would absolutely still be viable unless they nerfed grenade launcher in general, not just the anarchy.
Oh, I
Okay.
just looked at this piece of solstice gear and saw that it wants me to do Wrathborn hunts, and that's a no-go.
It's an ore. There should be
Yeah,
an ore on there.
Yeah, it is an or, but I just saw Wrathborn hunts. I'm like, I hated those, and I'm not doing it. You can't make me.
I don't think we
Mm.
could make you last year. I remember last year you didn't really want to participate in it.
Oh yeah, it was the trials requirement, and I was like, well, I'm done.
I don't remember what that is. It's been so long since I've done it. What is that, Fuzz?
Trials?
Wrathborn hunts.
It was the crows season where you went and charged
Mm.
up some terrible lure,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got one of 4 things, but unless you and your friends were all hunting the exact same guy that didn't double dip and count.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just poorly done for, playing with people in a, team-based looter shooter, which was absolutely fantastically done.
Well, when you do finish that armor, check it out.
Yeah.
What you have next is the helmet. You need to do a master or a grandmaster Nightfall strike. That's not too bad.
Nope, not a problem.
For the arms, you have to do a raid. Any raid.
Okay.
Yep. For the chest piece, you have to do. Where the hell's my chest piece? There it is. Dungeon. Again, not too bad. For the legs, you got to do champions killed inside of a Nightfall, or competitive guardians killed in competitive. And that's 15. And last one is legendary or master lost sectors. So not too bad, but everything except the last one, except the last 2, you need to have group 4, right? So raid, dungeon, and
You can solo dungeons. Don't be a scrub.
okay, fair enough. But a raid, you need a group 4, and you also need a group for the grandmaster or master.
Not if you're esoteric. You can solo those things.
I'm not esoteric, so
No.
yeah, you need a group. But the thing about it
If
is
only
the
Bungie
armor
had a way to
rolls.
look for a group. If only they
Yeah.
had a looking for group system built into the game.
But
Oh,
the
what?
problem with the armor is that you're doing all this to get a glow, right? But the rolls on the armor are, you know how they randomly re-roll them?
They suck.
Yeah, no, dude. This is supposed to replace my current armor where I have 17 mobility, 7 resilience, 2 recovery, 6 discipline, 14 intellect, and 6 strength. That's the final form of this armor, for the headpiece. That's nowhere near as good as the headpiece I currently have. It's not even in the same universe, And whenever I put on all these pieces, not one stat is even close to 100. Not one. I think my highest one is mobility, which is like at 50, right? So I'm just like, wow. This is supposed to be the solstice armor. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna shine, and then I'm never going to wear it. I'm going to turn it into an ornament, maybe, if the glow works, But it's terrible.
Well, that's what you want to kind of do, isn't it? You want to complete them so that you can unlock all the glows.
It's still terrible.
Fair enough.
That feels kind of like, I feel like they should have given us at least decent armor if we're putting all this time and effort into it. And it
Well,
is
there's
seasonal.
60 rolls. There are at least 60, right?
You can get more armor from the boxes.
What box?
Once you've gone and you've got it to the majestic set, if you keep doing the EAZ, that will then give you a chance at getting more armor and better rolls on the armor.
Is the majestic after the magnificent?
Or whatever it is. It's the highest tier one. I can't remember.
Because right now, my stuff is the magnificent.
Is that the highest purple? Yeah, whatever that is then.
It says I have to do this stuff to unlock the glows.
Magnificent, yeah, the magnificent set. Yeah.
So that's what I have, and I have yet to
once
get
you-
any armor out of these packages. Are you sure it's dropping?
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said when we covered it last week.
That's what Bungie said, and Bungie's never wrong.
I mean, drop rates. You have to pray to RNGesus and hope that your prayers are answered. But if my history with RNG is any indication of how it's going to go for me, I might as well not.
I'm there with you, Buzz. Yeah. I'm absolutely right there with you.
38 runs for Eyes of Tomorrow, 27 runs for Anarchy, 18 runs for the Sparrow.
I got you beat on the Anarchy. Took me way more than that. But I did get my Eyes of Tomorrow before you did.
Yeah, the
But
only
you
person
got Vex. You got the Mythic class already, don't you?
I got Mythic class on my second
Yeah.
run.
I still don't have it.
Cool. I mean, yes. Speaking about the Master of Vault of Glass, I found it quite interesting. I was talking to the Guardian Hub guys yesterday. Was it yesterday? All the days roll into one when I'm working nights. One of the nights, I jumped into their podcast, so I'm probably in the recording somewhere. And I was talking to those guys, and they were saying that they found it really hard. It was like going back to doing the day one version of the Vault of Glass. It was that hard.
But that's what they asked for specifically.
Well, I don't think they specifically asked for it, but
But the streamers did, and Bungie
Yeah.
adheres to the streamers. So
I think that's the issue, isn't it? Is it too hard for regular Guardians that do Vault of Glass? And I understand that they want to put a master version out there for people to aspire to do. But when you've got people that are, I believe they were telling me, Guardian Hub guys were telling me that they had somebody in the fire team that was like 1350, 1355, and they were still getting one shot by the hobgoblins. Now, when you're at the same power level as the raid, and that's the whole mechanic of grind your power level to get to that high power so that you
Mhm.
have a fighting chance, and it still doesn't help.
Well,
like-
that's why I was
No. Your
that's why I
power
was
level
telling
is
you.
your power level is capped in the raids. Like
Told you!
you'll hit,
Oh, I
you'll
told
hit
them
a-
that
you-
last week, and they said I was lying. See,
no,
I
no,
told
that's
you.
no. Your power level is absolutely capped. That's why like you could go back and do the old raids after like Garden of Salvation stuff came out, and their light levels were only saying 750, and I was sitting at 1100.
yeah, okay.
And I
so,
was
yeah,
still
it
able to get
scales,
two shot by stuff. So there's a soft cap to your, or actually it's a ghost
Oh,
cap
there's
to
a
your
hard
light.
cap. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
there's
a
some
hard
kind
cap
of
to your
scaler
light.
there. Yeah, I know. What
And
you
then the
mean.
master modes like the Grand Masters, your minimum is the ceiling. So once you hit that bar to get in, having more isn't going to do you any good, but having less won't let you in or is going to be brutally detrimental.
Yeah. I told you there was a cap, man. You're like, no, it doesn't say that there's a cap. I'm like, they don't say that there is, but there is, and you didn't believe me. See,
Don't
Fuzz
believe
backed
you.
me up.
I
Booyah.
believe Fuzz. I believe Fuzz, but I don't
Oh,
believe.
you son of a!
But I think that's the problem, isn't it? That you have these people that grind out the power in their artifact, and it's a complete fake power. And I don't understand why Bungie have built that mechanic in where you get to a certain power level and you can't take it forward into the next season.
Because light means nothing.
Because the grind. Because if they let you take that power in, why would you have to grind for weeks before they let you do, the cool new activity?
Dun, 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 dun.
But what I don't understand is why don't they just change the way that the artifact works and the power as well? So say you've got to 1320 in your power, but then you have the chance to get to 1340 if you get 20 power on your artifact. Why not be able to keep that going into next season? Why not be able to that automatically transfers to your light because you have earned that. Anything that you earn over those 20 light, you do lose. But
Because
anything,
grind.
But
Then
that's what I'm
people like
saying.
the YouTubers would have too much of an advantage. Hell, I saw a guy running around in the tower the other day who's level freaking what is he, 560? So if he's 560, Lord knows what the hell his artificial light is at, right? So I mean, some guy like that spends all day every day, he's not going to have any kind of problem doing anything that Bungie puts out. Bungie wants you to have to work towards something, not to just have it given to you.
And that right there is also part of the reason that there's the light cap in the raids, because what's
Exactly.
to stop people from grinding out really hard, getting to,
Mm.
I don't know, artificially inflate it to 1400,
Yeah.
and then, just breeze through the raid. You start one-shotting champions and bosses are done in 3 seconds.
Yep.
But that's a lot of commitment for somebody to do that, and that is not every single player. They're very few and far between.
I don't know about few and far between. They're not common. I'll
no,
grant you that.
what
But
I'm
they're
saying,
more. They exist more than you give them credit for. There's all kinds of high level guys that
there are.
just
But what I'm
yeah.
saying is, if you have put the time and effort in to grind your light, and you have reached like the 20 plus light on your artifact, when you go into the following season, you can take those 20 light and it applies it to your character. Anything over those 20 light, so you've grinded like 50 light, you've done all the bounties.
Yeah, but where does it stop?
Unbelievable.
You got 20 from this season. Next season, now you
Let's
have
say
leftover because that gap is going to get bigger and bigger, right? So
no,
if you have a 20 light
not.
level, if you have a 20 light level jump at the beginning of this season, and you go up an extra 20 light level after this season, well, next season you've got 40 light level up on that season, right?
No, you haven't. So if say for next season, the light, the soft cap would be, let's say 1340, because that would be you reaching the max on your artifact of the 20 plus light and getting your gear up to 1320. So say 1340 is the minimum that you can when you can start off, like we did this season. If you're already at 1310, you're already at the minimum. So let's say that next season is 1340 for the minimum and 1350 is the hard cap. You then have a chance to then grind your power on your artifact. So you don't lose out for the time and effort that you put in. All they've got to do is increase it. And let's face it, when people
Yeah, but
talk,
increase it based on who? Increase it based on the one guy that has 90 extra light, or
no, but
increase it based on the guy that's got
they
5
don't.
extra light.
If you've got 5 extra light, you then go into next season with that plus 5 extra light and whatever you've earned on your gear. So you could possibly go in at 1335, but then you still have a chance of grinding your artifact. You still have a chance at then still getting some of the armor drops and weapon drops to then boost you up to the minimum, which would be 1340, like they have done in previous, rather than kind of inflate it the way that they did. They were, oh, next season you have to grind 50 power levels. Whereas they cut it back to 10 this season, all they've got to kind of do is adjust the fact that people have actually put time and effort into your artifact. Make the
So
artifact
Okay,
worth
but why would
basically
they do
the
that?
same thing, but just a more complicated way of doing it. Oh,
but
people have
make
put more in there, so now we have to raise the cap higher to force
no,
people to
you
grind
don't.
more.
If they cap it, they say if you can get to 20 light plus on your artifact, you get to keep that going into next season. And bear in
Okay.
mind the minimum, the minimum light next season is 1340 with a hard cap of 1350.
Right, but you're missing the math, dude. I mean, I don't know if we're having a disconnect or
Give it
you're just not getting
disconnect.
the math, right? If I go into this season with
Yeah,
20 extra light level from last season,
yeah,
and I still grind as hard as I did before,
yeah.
I have a minimum of another 20 light level going into that season, plus the 20 light level I've had from the previous season, right? So now I've got 40 light level going in to the next season. It's like rollover minutes
No,
for a cell
no,
phone.
it's not.
It's
It's
just
not
going to
rolling.
keep stacking up.
No. Okay, I see where your disconnect is. Nitedemon is saying, why don't we have you can have up to a 20 light level jump on the next season's activities based on your previous like investiture into game time.
Yeah.
But you're still going to have that cap. It's not going to be 20 light this season and an additional 20 light next season. No, so like if it jumps from 1320 this season to 1340 next season and then 1340 to 1360, you're not going to be 40 light levels up. You're still only going to be 20.
Yeah.
Okay. But then he's saying on top of that, Destiny would just, keeping in mind the light level you've got from last season, they'll just raise the requirements for the next season. But isn't that just more of the same?
That's
You
what
know?
they do now. But what I'm saying is, if Destiny actually incorporated the reason to get your power level on your artifact up, because at the moment, those people that are grinding all those bounties and some people are going ridiculous and having like plus 35, 40 extra light on that artifact. It comes to nothing at the end of the season. That artifact disappears and you lose all that artificial light. I'm actually saying
Yeah.
let's actually have it be worth something, or even maybe if you get to you unlock 100 points on your season pass, I think that's the equivalent of actually getting the 10 plus light. Maybe have the 10 plus light, so that next season, if you haven't bothered to play this season, there is a jump of plus 20 light to get to the soft cap, but there are ways of getting up to that. But if you've earned it, you get to keep that going into the next season. I'm just saying that where they took it back and they stripped it back to 10 plus light, that's how much you'd have to raise it. And if you've already got to the hard cap, which I have this season on one of my characters, next season I've only got to do the pinnacle stuff. I'm just saying that make it worth using that stuff. That you've
Right,
actually
but
grind out.
you're looking at light as some kind of like thing to get or something that's useful. It's just a gatekeeping mechanic.
It is, yes.
Like it benefits the player almost nothing, because once you hit that, minimum requirement, having a whole lot more doesn't really do anything for you.
Well,
Just goes
all
up
I'm
next
saying
season.
is, yeah, just give it as an incentive for actually to play the game and actually get your artifact up. And I mean, I don't understand. The only reason that you need to power up your light is Grandmaster stuff. In PvP, it doesn't matter because you don't use your artifact.
Cough, trials, cough.
Yeah, you
That's
don't use
it. Yeah.
Iron Banner and
And Iron
Trials.
Banner, yeah.
You don't use your artifact. So actually make it useful of the artifact. You've got it there. You've implemented it into the game. We've had it for so many seasons, but actually make it worthwhile for the reason why, And if people have got to X amount plus 10 on their artifact, make it useful in Trials. Make it useful in Iron Banner. There's a reason why it's there. It just seems to be an artificial way of making people grind out to, and then when you're
It's
saying
absolutely an artificial way to make people grind out, but it's
Please,
been
please
working.
see their random ass currencies.
Yeah.
we didn't have this in Destiny 1 and people still played the game. I don't understand that. And
Again, it's see, my argument from earlier is they cranked up the grind and turned down the fun. They changed the mechanics so that people have to grind and play more to get to do stuff. But in doing so, they took away a lot of the fun and that special something that made Destiny Destiny, that kept you coming back week after week.
Mm.
Like most of the time this season, I pop in, I do the story missions, I look at the same dry list of strikes, crucible maps, and I might do this week's raid challenge. That's about it right now.
yeah. I mean, I'm on the other side. I mean, I will play the game religiously. I love the game. I'm just thinking of ways to improve it and iterate it and get more people to enjoy it and get, say, you to come and enjoy it a bit more. And actually, the time and effort that you've actually put in and play, it's worth coming back. There are reasons why. And I mean, like, I was listening to Paul Tassi. He did a video on the Master Vogue issues with all the different problems of why people aren't playing it, and the time lost weapons aren't, once you've kind of got them, there's so many problems with it. And he was saying that it's easy for certain players to actually do, like I think Respawn alluded to with the streamers. That I watched a Fallout video of him saying, this is an easy way to farm the Templar if you can do it with a team of this, this, and this, and you need this, this, and this. I'm thinking, oh my god, it seems, not being horrible, but it seems so elitist for them to farm the Templar on, the master difficulty, when I think a lot of people are finding it hard to, like the Guardian Hub guys finding it hard to even get into that new version of the raid when they're actually at the power cap or the power level to get into it, but struggling to actually play the game mode.
But yeah, but you got to keep in mind.
Tone it down.
You got to keep in mind though, it's exactly elitist, right? So Bungie's doing this thing very specifically to adhere to the streamer base, right? Because the streamers are basically all of their advertisement, right? All of their free advertisement. If the streamers don't like it, then the streamers, are gonna say something, right? So they do all these things to make the game, like you said, elitist in some aspects, in some places, specifically for these streamers. These guys that it is their job to be good at the game. It is their job to know all the secrets and loadouts and skills and strats and to be good at it. You know what I'm saying? That is their whole reason for having their channel, for making money. So they have to keep coming up with new ways to pacify these streamers so the streamers keep playing, so the streamers can keep making their own. I mean, it's a cycle, right? So guys like you and me and Fuzz that aren't all about the whole, hey, I need to do this strat and this strat and this strat and this strat to get into the master, or like the Guardian Hub or the Guardian Down or all these guys, right? It's not going to be as approachable for us, even though I would consider myself a raider, right? But that level is it's ridiculous. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, you can follow what the streamers say, but you gotta have a whole thing set up, man. You gotta have a whole group that's on the same page, and a whole group that's got the same skill gap too, you know. And it's just it's not comparable. It's not how the community as a whole functions. And yeah, no, it's like I said, it's absolutely elitist. You're right.
So after I have a chance to go do Master Vogue, I will happily come back and talk to you about my experiences with it.
Yeah. But it's just interesting that you haven't made it like your goal this week. Oh, it's out. I'm really excited. I'm going to get the team together and go and do it like first day.
I told you he wouldn't.
No, but I mean, it does speak volumes. There's obviously something there. There's a disconnect there to not incentivize you to play it straight away.
Okay, but so look at the loot you get. You can get these adept weapons, but what am I going to use the adept weapons for? If I can already clear Master Vogue with what I've got, what do these adept weapons actually add for me?
They make it easier to clear it next time around,
so
or give
I can
you a
just
PvP advantage.
so I can clear it again to make it a little bit easier next time if we can already do it. I mean, okay, but that's kind of And it's not like this. I can just use them and go, oh man, so I gotta grind strikes to get the decent gear to get a Nightfalls. I gotta play these Nightfalls to get the weapons I need to go do the raids. It's no, I gotta do the raid to get the raid weapons so I can do the raid to get the raid weapons.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, there's not any cool new armor. There's no Sparrow. There's no Ghost. I mean, there's no glows.
Yeah, they're just better weapons. That's it.
It's a huge time sink, but it's not even guaranteed they're better weapons. It's a roll.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. The adept weapons are not guaranteed rolls. I forgot to add that into account. Yeah, no. So you have a chance of getting a better roll. And what was it that I was complaining about last week about how it's not even you can't even get the mods, right?
No.
You can't get the mods from the raid. So you can get the adept weapons, but you can't get the adept weapon mods from the raid. To do that, you got to go into trials and go flawless in trials, or do a master Nightfall. I'm just like, are you serious? So I have to get the other two examples I've just given give you the adept weapons in addition to mods for the said weapons, but the raid doesn't. You just get the weapon and not the mods. Duh. I mean, that's even less of an incentive. At the very least, they should have given you the opportunity to get both. But no.
Or if they had added new mods, like new adept mods, or or made the raid mod, like new raid mods useful that changed something or gave you an advantage, like you could shoot oracles out of order or something like that.
Not even that, but if they just gave you good mods that were good for general things. Because like you said, if they gave you something for oracles, great. Now you've got a better mod to do that raid that you've already beaten better, right? It goes back to what you said earlier. So if they're going to give you mods, it needs to be something like, hey, with this mod, you do an extra 15% damage to Vex. Boop, flat damage. All Vex. Anywhere in the game. Something like that. Like we had from one of our previous raids that just give you a flat-out damage buff to Taken. Remember that? That was cool. Because that was not only good for the Riven raid, but it was good for all the Taken in the Dreaming City, all the Taken everywhere in the game. It was a flat damage mod for everything that you had to fight of that enemy type, right? Or another damage mod that says, hey, auto rifles hit 20% harder everywhere. Just something like that, That would be encouraging, right? You go to the raid to get a mod that's going to be good for more than just the raid, which is going to be eventually Sunset. So, I mean, You know,
Or they could have introduced stuff like the Deepstone Crypt Raid mods, which are functionally worthless.
what are those mods?
Exactly.
It's serious.
Isn't that on the armor you're talking about?
Yeah. All the mods are for armor from the raids.
Yeah, but you initially started talking about the weapons, the adept mods.
Yeah, well, I mean, mods in general. Okay, so even the adept mods, you know, to give you something that just makes that gun better.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they do. But I started off saying the adept mods because the raid doesn't give you them. They'll give you the weapon, but you got to go someplace else and do another really difficult activity for a chance to get a mod.
Yeah,
Right?
It doesn't really
Whereas if I'm doing the raids, I should get the weapon and a mod.
or
You
a
know,
chance.
not
Yeah,
yeah. So that alone, bearing nothing else, makes no damn sense.
Or just add the adept mods to the loot pool of the raid, so it's more attractive to go do the master version of the raid. It's like, hey, if I do the master version of the raid, I can get like the trials adept mods from the raid,
Yeah.
because I myself will never ever ever go flawless in trials. Never. It's not possible. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So like
You'd have to be
that's not
carried
at
at a minimum.
yeah, that's assuming I don't sandbag it too hard. But it's one of those, if I sit there and go, all right, I can never get these because I can't go flawless in trials, and they gave me a PvE equivalent that said, hey, you do this master, raid, you can get these really cool mods that you can only get here or there. I'm like, all right, now we're talking. Now we're giving me an incentive to go do it to get these
They
mods.
did though. That's the Grandmaster Nightfalls, right? But they've also given you that mechanic in a raid, but without the ability to get the mods from the raid. So yeah, you still have a PvE activity to do exactly what you said, but it's Grandmaster Nightfalls, not the raid.
It's the same Nightfalls we've seen that haven't changed, and they're kind of boring at this point.
I'm aware, but I'm just saying that there is a PvE equivalent, like what you were talking about. It's just, if you're going to give me the raid, give me the option in the raid in addition to the Nightfall Grandmaster. So I see what you're saying, but it does exist for PvE already. It's just in the form of Nightfall instead of a raid. So you can go to the raid to get the adept weapons, but go to the Nightfall to get the adept mod. Still, two places to get one functioning adept setup is ridiculous. But whatever.
Yeah.
Bungie clearly knows what they're doing.
So is there anything else you want to kind of add about the raids? Any other feedback for Bungie as you're here, Fuzko?
I mean, so the raids are like what I got into Destiny 2 for,
Yeah.
right? Leviathan, Scourge of the Past. Garden of Salvation was the first raid I got titled on, and then I went back and I got my Shadow title and worked on everything else and got the title from Deepstone Crypt. And it's like the raids are what keep me engaged, or what did. And then so what I don't know. I'd like to see the fun brought back, right? And not
Yeah.
just the grind.
Yeah. Because even if you look back at the Sparrow Racing League raid, right? I had everything I could get from that raid. I had all the god rolls, I had the exotic, I had everything. But I kept going back to do it, to help other people do it, to just come up with reasons to do it because it was a fun raid, right?
Yeah.
Right now, though, we're just doing the raids to get the loot, not because, it being fun. So have good loot, yes, but also make it replayable in the fact that it's fun to do, I mean, like Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart, you get the same tracks, you're facing the same CPUs, but it's a fun thing to do. Same thing with Smash Brothers, right? It is a fun thing to do, not just you're getting gear or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So make the game modes fun, and people will keep doing them. If you build it, they will come, kind of scenario.
Because
Not
if you don't
just
have the fun and you're just going for the grind, well, I got my god rolls. Why do I need to keep doing this?
Yeah, and now it's harder for me to find someone to do the raid since my, raid leader is not as excited to do it. And I'm using excited as a, you know,
Loose term.
yeah, it's a loose term, right? He's not as apt to help us put a raid together if he's already got all the crap he needs and the raid's not fun. Now I got to go look up some LFG somewhere to find some guy that's willing to help me out. Man, that's not fun. I want to do it with my team.
Like
Some
I
other team.
mentioned my dislike of Deepstone Crypt. Like I don't find it fun. And there are still people who don't have Eyes of Tomorrow, and I am, they're my guys, and even so, I am still loath to go do that raid with them, even though they need that exotic. Because
Yeah,
I don't like it.
if any of those guys are listening, hit me up. I'll help you do it. Because I'm always willing to help somebody do a raid. So if you need help, reach out to me. We can try to do something.
But do you despise it because of the mechanics or the loot?
Because of Atrix. Because of the Atrix mechanic alone.
So just one mechanic.
Just one mechanic makes the whole thing suck.
Ruined the whole raid for me. I can't get past it. It's a personal failing.
Okay. But apart from that, it's fine.
Well, yeah, it's fine. It's not particularly fun. Holy, this guy's at level 620.
See? Guys like that.
Sorry, I'm currently while we're doing this, I've been grinding out EAZ and strikes and stuff. And
Yeah.
I just popped into an EAZ with a level 3 and a level 620, and I've never seen anybody in the 600 yet personally.
Yeah. No, the highest I've ever seen. No, Alex, what did you say? Said like an 800, level 800 something. Yeah, my son the other day was playing, and there was somebody over 800 in his lobby, and I didn't believe it. I was like, "There's no way." And I came over. I'm like, "Holy, what the hell does he do with his life?" It's like, is he a dev? Does he just get paid to sit here all day, every day, playing this game? Yeah, no, over 800. My son saw the other day.
Would if I could.
Yeah. Well, you can. We just need to make this show popular enough so we can stay at home and do it all day.
Sorry, that was a bit of a sidetrack, but yeah. So it's for me, it's fun and engaging mechanics, and then decent loot. Because I mean, a lot of the raid loot you don't use for like anything. It doesn't fit into the meta currently. So you get it, you get the best possible roll for it, and you stick it in the vault and hope the meta changes to use it.
Yeah.
What if just the whole raid was a Sparrow Racing League raid, right? You have different Sparrow mechanics, like you gotta drive through rings, or you have to push buttons, or you have to, not get lost in a maze, or something like that. The whole raid is on a Sparrow. And I don't know if something has to be chasing you. You could just be fighting a clock, let's say, but just make it engaging. That way you have an entire raid where you're on a Sparrow.
I think, to be honest, there was a PlayStation game like that. I think you have to go back and play that.
There was? What was it called?
Oh, I can't remember.
But no, just obviously that's not going to happen, but it's a fun idea. Just why not? Why not do it like that? You race the Sparrow through this whole raid. You got to get off to like open gates or do a puzzle or whatever, and then get back on the Sparrow and keep going, kind of thing. I don't know.
Wipeout. What's it called? Wipeout?
I don't know what Wipeout is. Let's check Wipeout.
But do you appreciate the spoils that they give you when you do run it multiple times in a week, Fuzz? Is that something that's actually been beneficial for somebody that does a lot of raids?
No, I have everything I want. What do the spoils do for me?
Nothing.
Like,
oh wow.
The rolls.
Okay, I've got my god rolls. I don't need any more.
But then I suppose they're transferable, which is helpful. So if you've got a big stack of them from when you've played Deepstone Crypt, played Last Wish, and you've got all these spoils, when you rock up to Vogue or Crota's End, if they do bring that one back next season, you have a chance of just completing it once, and then if you've got a roll of each weapon, you can then re-roll and have a chance of getting the god roll then. So there are.
But we need more than god rolls to incentivize people. I think is the point we're trying to get at. Demon is having god roll, having cool loot is one thing, but if you have to grind through something that's unenjoyable to get that, is it worth it?
Okay,
You
so
know?
what would entice you to go back into the raid and maybe say Sherpa people through it? So each time that you play through it, and maybe it counts for somebody that hasn't played it that week.
For Fuzz, it would be to get rid of the oracles. I can guarantee you that.
No, but say for Bungie at the moment can track anybody that hasn't been able to do the raid, and you can get that emblem for Sherping 10 people through it. If they could track the fact that, say, somebody hasn't done it for that week, so they have completed it, but if, say, Fuzko brings 2 other people with his team that haven't done it that week, there should be some incentive for him to actually complete it. So if maybe a golf ball is available at the end for him, a guaranteed drop of something, would that entice you, or would it have to be something completely different in the game?
Yeah, but how would how would Bungie be able to tell if you're Sherpa-ing or what, or if you're just going through it again? You know?
Well, that's what I mean. It'd be down to Bungie. Surely, I mean, Bungie can track if you've played the game that week because they know to cut you off so that you don't get any weapon drops or armor drops, and they just
Well,
so
that's what they did with the whole mechanic where they give you tokens to spend at the end of the raid.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if they can track it that way, surely they understand that Fuzz has already been through it that week, and anybody else that's been through it that week that's with Fuzz, if they take other people through that haven't been through, there is a reward for keep going back through, apart from just spoils. Because by the sounds of it, the spoils aren't the motivation for him to go back through, and it's probably the same for a lot of YouTubers. If they've got all their god rolls, what's the point apart from just going back through with like their followers?
Yeah.
There is no real reason for people that like Fuzco that just like playing the raids over and over again. Certain raids.
I mean, for me, I've got all the god rolls of all the weapons. I just don't have the Vex. So the only reason I'm playing right now is to get the Vex.
So once you've got the
Mythic
Vex,
class.
there's no
Yeah.
point after that.
No, not really, no. And unlike the other raids
What I'm
that,
saying is, what
the
would
Deep Stone
incentivize
Crypt, which I would do because I think it's visually stunning and I enjoy it, I would do that with other people, even though I've got all the god rolls for that one and the exotic. But this
What-
raid, as
what
soon
would
as I
you-
get the Vex Mythic class, unless somebody really wants me to help them,
get that?
I got no
get
reason
that.
to go back in.
But what would incentivize you to go back in if you had to go? If you wanted to take other people through it and you did like playing it over and over again, you got everything, you've got your god rolls and you've got your Vex. What would incentivize you? Maybe say an emblem that changes color for say you've done
No,
100
I
runs.
think you were on the right track the first time with Ascendant Shards or Ascendant Fragments, right?
What
Or
about you, Fuzz?
whatever the shards are called.
I mean, I've got a stack of 10 golf balls and I'm sitting on 100 shards because I've got it's part of the I play too much problem, or I played too much problem. Is that
Yeah.
I haven't replaced a piece of armor this season. I think I replaced a single piece of armor last season. It's I'm just sitting on all these things, and the spoils for me, I didn't really think spoils were geared for getting your god rolls. It was just a fun mechanic they added.
Yeah.
And spoils were more for people who didn't get the raid weapons that were vaulted, and we're giving them a chance to get it.
Well, okay, then
Yeah.
maybe what about like they've done with the titles this year, with where if you've dredged yourself about 20 times, you get the 2 after your name. What about the emblems that you get for doing the raid? Say you've got a specific emblem, say you've done 50 runs through it, and you've helped Sherpa people through. You say that you get a different emblem for doing like 50, and then once you get to 100 it changes color. When you get to 200, 300, up to 1,000, and then once you've hit 1,000 or whatever it is, the top one that they want to kind of give out, maybe it's an animated one, something like that. Would that entice you to show off that what you've done, what you've achieved?
Maybe if it was cool, but
Well, that's what I'm
there's
saying. If it was something cool and it
yeah,
you
no,
show
that
it off.
that could definitely be something I work for, because I go around swapping my different raid titles depending on what raid I'm in. Just be like, you can't get this title anymore.
Or maybe
Stuff.
like, you remember, I think it was at Christmas when we had the Dawning event, and you could earn that ship that had have different effects coming out of the end of it. The wasn't transfer effects, but
Too bad it was all ugly and none of it was cool, but yeah.
yeah. But say that again, if you've done like 100 Sherpa runs through, you get a new ship, and then every time that you do an X amount of Sherpa runs, that ship changes, and maybe adds more to it and changes. I mean, because you can always change colors, and you can maybe you get the transmat effects that you can then add and change the different colors that come out at the end of it. Just
You're onto something. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and you could
something
also
to
do
show
it
off.
like hey, if you building on to what you just said, right? Let's say you're never going to be good enough to do the hard mode raid, right? But if you Sherpa 50 people through, you guaranteed one drop of an adept weapon. Well, now if you Sherpa 100 people through, now you get a guaranteed drop of another adept weapon.
Thing is,
Maybe
with that, if people have done it and played it like Fuzko, and they've got all their god rolls, it's you need to entice them with something else. A
right,
bit,
but that's what I'm
like
saying.
they
A
do.
guaranteed adept weapon, maybe a god roll adept weapon after you Sherpa 50 people through. That nobody can get. Like it will not roll. You cannot get it dropped in game with this roll unless
Or
you've Sherpa'd people through.
or like what they did in Call of Duty with different skins, you could only get the gold version of this gun. This is the god roll of that gun, and it's got a gold skin, or it's got a specific skin for that. I mean, it needs to be something that people can show off and show in game. Ghosts you can't really show off. Sparrows not so much. Ships you can, because when people are floating in space, when they're kind of doing like LFGs, or even if you're just messing about with your friends, they're like, "Oh my god, where'd you get that ship? Where'd you get that emblem from?" That's always the topic of conversation when I'm in an LFG group, or when people inspect you, they have a look at you and they're like, "Oh, where'd you get that piece of armor from?" Things like that. It's something that Bungie need to do to kind of incentivize people to show off more. And if they could have a different range of like emblems or ships that could just change. I mean, imagine if you could get, once you've fitted out your ship, that it's got to kind of the 10th level of it, prestiging that ship, it gives you like the taken effect on it, or it gives you like a different glow around the outside, just something to show off and show that you're the guy that does this. I mean, it's
I
all
agree.
nice.
No, that's a fantastic idea. But I
Yeah,
mean,
perfect.
that's looking at just raids. All right. So, do you go do and just grind strikes during the week?
I do
No.
anything really.
Okay. I don't do strikes anymore
No.
because there's no reason for me to. I'm pinnacle capped. I've been pinnacle capped, and unless I've got, you know, something that requires me to do strikes, I don't do them. They're not, enjoyable, and there's too many of those bosses that have the damage gate mechanic that frustrate me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's a strike. It's not a raid boss. It's not a grandmaster Nightfall. It's a strike boss. Why
But I
am I
think,
being punished for doing the strike?
again, I think that's something that could be
Efficiently.
rewarded. We initially in Destiny 2, you got an emblem for getting to a certain milestone on um, getting a score on each strike, didn't you? There was 3 different iterations of the strikes that you could get different versions of that emblem, which were pretty cool. But imagine if they kind of went into a lot more detail, like we were saying with the ship, or even with an animated emblem, or just something to show off that you play a lot of strikes, or you play a lot of Nightfalls, or the Grandmaster Nightfalls
Yes,
that you
exactly.
can
There
equip.
needs to be something, and that's currently my problem with the state of the game is that you hit a point and there's like nothing to do because they've turned down the fun and up the grind. And if there's, you run out of stuff you want to grind for, what's the point?
Mm.
Well, they had a good thing going where they had the pinnacle weapons. Not pinnacle. What am I thinking?
I get that pinnacle weapon thing, but if you're somebody that can't get pinnacle weapons, but
No, I'm
you
talking about like they're not pinnacle. The unique ones we used to get. You'd have one for Crucible,
Great.
one for Vanguard, one for
Yeah,
Gambit every
the
season.
the seasonal ones, or I know
Yeah,
what
I liked that idea. I was sad when they took that away,
you get
because
one
that
then.
gave me a reason. I mean, honestly, the weapons were the only thing that even took me into Crucible. Since they stopped doing that, I don't think I've gone into Crucible at all until this armor came up where I had to go play. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, now
Yeah,
it's just one, and you get the different ornaments for each thing that you do: Gambit, strikes, or
exactly. And I don't have the Crucible ornament on any of my weapons. I've got the Gambit, I've got the Vanguard, but no Crucible. But if they bring back the Crucible weapons, then yeah, I'd go back to doing that, grind or whatever. That would bring me in. So something like that.
I mean, I remember Trials in Destiny 1, there was that secret scarab emblem that you could get once you've kind of gone flawless, that it would just be a random chance for you to kind of get. And I remember playing with my friends, and they were desperate to try and get me this emblem, and I never got it, but they'd all got it because they kind of played it constantly. But just something like that, even in Trials, like a secret something that could possibly drop. But then if you've got it the first time, then maybe if you've done it a couple more times, it would then incentivize people to then play past their 7 wins, and those top players to stay away from that bottom half of the playlist, to give others the opportunity to then get into that playlist and play against people of their own skill. Because if the higher skill players are all playing at that top end to try and get this, thing that is really hard to obtain, I'm thinking that it keeps them away from other people. They need more things like that, and the Raiders are a great you know thing
I
for
don't know.
that.
Trials is its own like bag of issues because I am not a top tier PvP player, and as someone who won't ever get into that bracket, I will
Mm.
never play it. Like I tried Trials once or twice just to see how it was, and I won't go back. There's no reason for me to play that.
Maybe you're like me, Fuzz. Like I'm not good at Trials until I get sufficiently pissed off, and then I magically become a top tier player because of anger. Right? Maybe you're just not mad enough when playing Trials. Get angry, get upset. Make it personal. I don't know.
See, I play ranked in Crucible with a couple of the other guys in the clan, and that can be fun, but that's because I'm playing with people. Like I'm not going to
Yeah,
go
the
sit there
game
and
mode isn't fun. The team is.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'm not going to sit there and sweat in Trials hoping to get my 3 or 5 wins, because like I said before, for me flawless is not a attainable thing.
Right.
But why can't it be? Why can't it be that?
Because the other people in Trials.
Yeah, I understand.
Because of how Trials works. I myself am not in that top 10% of players who
No,
can sit there and just win. And when
no.
I run up against someone who's a flawless gilded on my first play on my first card, I'm like, oh good, they're all flawless Trials players and
Yeah.
I'm almost a casual Crucible player.
I
Well,
mean, I'll tell you the idea that I've had, and I've reiterated it several times on this podcast and on forums and things, that maybe there should be rings of engagement. So when Trials opens up at the first part of the weekend on the Friday, everybody's lumped into the same pool. Once you've gone flawless on your account, you're then into the higher pool. So that if you go back on your second or third character, you're in that I've already gone flawless that week, I'm in another pool, which then thins out the bigger pool of those players. They can't get back in there unless they've got a different account. They can't get back into that other pool of the lesser
I
skilled
like it.
players. That
I like it.
then the lesser skilled players can play against each other, and slowly over the weekend, if you manage to go flawless, you get put into that higher tier, and then again, yes, you have to play against those higher skilled players. But it gives that bigger outer ring a chance for more people to actually play against people of their own skill level,
Yeah.
and
And not just
that
that,
would
but
give.
how many times you've been flawless might put you in a higher skill bracket.
No, I think it should be on a weekly basis. That once you've
You
done
think?
it that week, and I think that would give people like Fuzko, the opportunity. Just you might even have the desire to go. You know what? Maybe on a Saturday night, let's give it a go. Or even a Sunday night, let's give it a go. See how many people that are around our own skill level. I mean, yes, you might still have some of the gods that don't play until like Sunday night, but it would give you more of a chance of hitting people of your own skill level and go further, and give you the desire, I think.
I like that idea personally, but I don't see Bungie doing that because that's going to take all of your top tier skill players, put them in their own little pool,
And they'll
and then
complain.
they're
They
going to
cry.
complain because they can't, yeah, they go, pub stomping and get a really easy flawless card because they're playing, casual players who are just trying to get 3 wins to get a shot at a weapon or an armor piece,
Yep.
and he's on his 50th flawless for the weekend.
But that's what I'm saying. That once they've done their flawless, they are in that other pool. But then
No,
more
he
people will be in
agreed
that
with
other
you. He's
pool.
just saying
Yeah.
Destiny won't do it because of because of that reason.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
I don't understand because they would. They'll all be put in. They'll all be going into that pool as well, slowly, and more people would get into that pool as time goes by on that weekend.
Right, but it's going to detract from the streamer's content.
Well, they can still
Yeah.
they can still pub stomp the first game, the first 7 wins.
I guess.
Okay,
Wow, now you have
there's
one
10
video
minutes
for
of
the
the
week.
stream.
Yeah, and now we've got to play the other streamers, which seems fair.
Oh goodness. No, I like the idea. If that was implemented, I would play a lot more trials. Hell, I would actually be the one to convince you and Peroty to come play trials with me instead of the other way around.
Fair enough. So I think we've beaten the horse of the raids to death.
Yeah, now can we start the podcast?
Yeah. Do you want to take us through this week at Bungie for the 8th of July?
Alrighty. Well, that was actually a nice discussion. No raging, no incoherency, except on my part because I forget how to speak sometimes. It was good. I like it. Dun, dun, dun. This week at Bungie, we set a date. No, we're not going to get married, but we did send out a save the date. Mark down August 24th in your novelty paper calendars that you bought from the mall kiosk, or maybe save a reminder to your phone if you have abandoned physical calendars altogether. We're looking forward to sharing more with you about the future of Destiny 2. See you then. That's August 24th, again, by the way. Back to the present. A new update went live this week, and Solstice of Heroes has kicked off. Guardians are buzzing around the European aerial zone, chasing after chests and upgrading their armor as we speak. That's not all. Vault of Glass Master Difficulty has also become available this week for all players. You can get a rundown of what to expect from last week's TWAB. There's a link there. Buzz! I'm assuming you've done some EAZ this week, yeah?
Currently in it.
So, do you like it better than previous EAZ instances? Especially since the chests are visible forever now?
I'm actually willing to do it this year because of that.
But no actual opinion on it?
I mean, I would really like the boosts not to steal my jumps.
That is the thing that bugs me. You get one jump, kind of, if that helps. Kind of. But yeah, no, the boosts are lame.
But I mean, it's an okay activity, I guess.
The one thing that I still can't stand is you still have to get the last hit to kill something for it to count as the kills for powerful enemies or whatever. You have to get that last hit, which is dumb. Because I've been sniped a few times where I'll be on this side of the map and I'll be killing the boss, and then some guy comes in at the last second and does a finisher so that it's immune to my bullets, and now he gets the kill. It's like, wow, that's lame. But yeah, okay, so special day, Bungie Day was yesterday because 7. We kicked off a new charity initiative with some cool incentives, showed off by some new merchandise from the Bungie store, put out a call for you to share your hashtag Bungie memories and hashtag Bungie Day art with us on social, and to give us new spicy ramen emblem to everyone. Everything is still available now. Go check out the full article for details. There's a link here. That link right there. That just links me right back to. Oh, I see. Cool. We mentioned that we had a new community artist series go live on Bungie Day. This is where we partner with creators to offer merchandise featuring their awesome artwork. Oh, that's cool. We asked our new round of artists to share a little about their work. And then it's got some art with some people's names. I'm not going to go through describing what everyone is. You can check it out. But some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are actually pretty cool. There's Ian. This is Katarizna Dibek Chamel. I probably slaughtered that name, but go back and check it out yourself. I butchered it, yeah, just completely bad. And then, oh, here's the lady that made a T-shirt with the little fallen babies on it. It's actually adorable. They're actually adorable. Anyway, big thanks to the community artists. You can pre-order their merch here. So they actually have their merch with their art on it, and there's a link. I'm sure Nitedemon will provide at some point.
Yep. I can put it in the show
Speaking
notes.
of art, we have a couple of extra little Bungie Day gifts for you. A day late, but who says we can only give you things on Bungie Day? We know you like decorating your phones and desktops, so we made a couple of wallpapers for you. Enjoy. Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh, I have to go back and save that because that one is actually kind of cool. Look at that with the lightning and everything. This one's cool too. I like that one. It's just a bunch of pictures, guys. You can check it out. It's 2 wallpapers. One of them says Bungie with lightning all around it, and the other one is the symbol for Destiny with kind of digitized, but like I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, there you go. Boom. Pretty cool. All right. When updates are inbound or issues arise, our team of experts on player support are always there monitoring the situation and giving you updates from @bungie.help. This is the report. This is a known issues list.
This
Taking
is Peroty section, isn't it? So this
taking
should be,
a buddy of mine's approach to how to do this. Stuff's broken. Eventually, it'll get fixed.
No,
Yep.
we're not doing that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, guy who's 4 rooms away. So we're gonna move ahead.
No, we're not
Special
doing that.
screening.
No.
Every single week, we share our favorite community videos with you. Okay, maybe take a few weeks off around the holidays, but other than that, it is non-stop movies all the time. Are you prepared? I bet you're not. Here's this week's winners. Movie of the Week cooking show. It shows you how to make a chilled spicy ramen. This one right here says Bungie Skybox team stays undefeated. I haven't watched it, so I can't give you a description on it, but there it is. And if you won, great job. Just place a link to your Bungie.net profile in the description of the video, and we'll send you a special emblem. Nice. And then we have Artist of the Week. Yep, that's a picture I could describe to you. That's another picture I could describe to you. And that's the end of the TWAB. Yo! That was nice. I dig it. Cool.
There's only a little known list of issues.
Is there anything fun in there? I might read the fun stuff. Let's see. While we continue investigating various known issues, here's a list of the... Okay, that's not fun. Renewed Solstice armor displays the Season of the Splicer icon instead of the Solstice icon. That's not fun. The Light and Dark weekly Solstice bounty for Gambit will only gain progress from the elemental final blows on Guardians. Well, that's not fun. The Prismatic Taken event UI may overlap other objective UI when players have multiple buffs active. Well, that's not fun. Prismatic orbs do not, I repeat, do not contribute to total elemental orbs collected by players. Wow, would you look at that? That's not fun. 2018 Solstice armor set glows may be less intense on certain portions of the armor. Well, that's not fun. Pieces of the filigree of light shell disappear when rotating the ghost shell in the inventory preview. Wow, that's also not fun. We are currently investigating reports of Solstice key fragments and Solstice packages being removed from players' inventories. That happened to me my very first run. It showed that I had like 5 packages, and when I went to open them, I had none. That happened to me. It hadn't happened since, but it did happen to me in my first EAZ run, and I was very upset by that. Anyway, moving on. The repeatable Solstice bounties do not display their Bright Dust reward when viewed in Eva's inventory. Completing these repeatable bounties will still award 10 Bright Dust each, however. That's not fun. The baby fallen emote will appear at the very end of a player emote inventory. Well, that's just bad programming. Players are receiving the Plug 1 fusion rifle instead of the Uzume RR4 sniper rifle as a Nightfall completion reward. Yep, I've gotten 2 of them so far this week. The fusion, not the sniper. Subtitles do not appear during the new Mithrax announcement dialogue. Subtitles do not appear when interacting with the House of Light banner in the Elixir Quarter. And the Ludo-Maniacal emblem does not unlock after players reset their infamy rank 3 times. Ooh, Players may be able to get around this by claiming an exotic Ingram from the Drifter's inventory. The Unstoppable Schwarzschild Condenser mod costs 5,000 Glimmer to apply instead of the usual 500. Okay, that's fun. For a full list of emergent issues in Destiny 2, players can review the known issues article. Players who observe other issues should report them at our #help forum. So, yeah, there's nothing fun there. Fuzko can read what's left.
That's it. You've read it all. He doesn't need
I
to
didn't read anything.
You read it all.
I didn't do anything.
So, speaking about Solstice, while we're kind of talking about it, sort of, I just wanted to kind of give people a couple of rundowns on things. So, some of the fastest ways to get the keys for the Solstice packages: Nightfalls will give you 16, Override will give you 13, Playlist Strikes will give you 12, Expunge will give you 12, EAZ will give you 11, Battlegrounds will give you 10, Nightmare Hunts will give you 10, Crucible will give you 8 for a win, 4 for a loss, and the same for Gambit. Public Events will give you 5 for a normal, 7 for a heroic. Solstice Bounties will give you 5, Exo Challenge will give you 5, Empire Hunts will give you 5, Wrathborns 3, Lost Sectors 2, and Patrols 0, which I found interesting. If you can do the Wrathborn Hunt and you've got the High Celebrant, that will give you a 25%. And I think a Tier 2 one will also give you 25% completion on your armor. Anything less than that will only give you 20%. Blindwell gives quite a lot. I think it jumped up to do a full completion on a Tier 3 and then do the final boss after that. When you insert the other coin, will give you something like 40 or 45% clear. So that goes quite quick.
Hey, Demon, question.
Yes.
So I've been doing a lot of Dreaming City stuff, especially the well this week, to try to get the new Tiger Spites.
Yeah.
Not only have I not gotten the Tiger Spite, I haven't gotten any weapons with any new rolls. My son says that he read somewhere that somebody said that they're just not dropping. I haven't seen that. Do you know anything about that?
I haven't heard, no, to be honest. I haven't heard
Okay.
anything. Yeah.
I mean, because that would
yeah,
make
I
sense if it
didn't
was
read
bugged or whatever, but like, because I haven't gotten any of the new weapons, and I really want some of the new Tiger Spites because I'm a big fan of the Tiger Spites.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, I haven't, to be honest.
have you gotten any yourself? Have you even played the Dreaming City this week?
Yeah, I did like a Blindwell, and I did one of the Wrathborn hunts on Dreaming City and didn't get anything. I think I may have got armor or just... Yeah, actually, I didn't get anything.
As an FYI, yes, it was tier 3 wells before anybody
Yeah.
asks. So
No,
not tier 1 or 2.
I got a vouchsafe. I got a vouchsafe and I destroyed it. I didn't want it.
The scout rifle?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else was there? I was going to tell you guys. People have found out the fastest way to farm for the key fragments is the expunge mission, and it's the expunge corrupted Tartarus. Now, this is the one that you can not activate, but then kind of jump up across on the boxes and go over the barriers to get to the boss. Very quick. I do believe that who did I think it was on one of the videos that I watched this week. And let me just check my video list because I think I did put it in the show notes. So Planet Destiny did a Solstice of Heroes guide for 2021, and that was the black link. And in there they run through how many keys you can get from different things. And I think in that video he talked about the expunged corrupted Tartarus being the fastest way to get some key fragments. Also, one of the best places that people have found for farming some orbs is the Shiro Chi checkpoint in the Last Wish, which you can go to the wish wall and input a code and then bypass and get to that. And there's a rally flag if you're kind of doing supers or you're doing melees and things like that. So you can go to Shiro Chi or I think it's in the dungeon on the Dreaming City. You can go to the Thrallway there and you can burn out some orbs. But to be honest, when I was playing the game and leveling up, because I've done my Titan this week so far, I'd say it took about 8 hours to get to the Magnificent set, which is the one that requires you to then go off and do raids and grandmasters or normal nightfalls. When I was doing that, it was just I just went to like do the different objectives, equipped all the armor pieces, and it went really quickly. Just playing the game, so it worked out pretty good. If you want to have a look at some of the objectives, if you are looking at maybe doing 2 or 3 characters, Ubuntu has done 2 guides for going from Renewed to the Majestic, and then from the Majestic to the Magnificent. 360 Game TV has the Solstice Key Fragment Fast Farm Guide. I think that's the one with the expunged corrupted Tartarus, giving you a quick look at how to do that. And then also this week with week 9, with one of the challenges on your challenge card, Path of the Scribe. I couldn't find all the locations to go and scan some of the scannables, and it isn't the data pads that were hidden behind the metal bars. It's just the scannables that are in the area that you talk to Mithrax. So 360 Game TV has all the locations for the Path of the Scriber, if you're kind of looking for those, because I think I'm missing one, so it'd be handy to go back and have a look. So if we finish this week at Bungie, we're now up to the Respawn's Report Roundup.
What? I don't believe it. Respawn's report dust up. Alright, Fuzko Day. Destiny News says new in-game notice regarding Vanguard tokens. Make sure to turn in your Vanguard tokens to Zavala before August 24th. Next, we have Cami Cakes. Each moon weapon will take about 15 minutes to farm a single roll. K1 Logistics Lost Sector, 2 minutes to complete full resets, 16% per completion, 7 total runs. If you can snag a public event, you might be able to shave 1 or 2 resets. DMG says, for those not stacked on Phantasmal Fragments cores, Nightmare Hunts are pretty quick, and Altars of Sorrow has patrols that can be completed as you run through waves. If you need me, I'll be on the moon. Yeah, thanks for that one. Here we go. DMG says, Nightfall weapon rotation. Speaking of moon weapons.
Hang on. Are you raging?
I don't know if rage is right. But what is the point in bringing back weapons, right?
Yeah.
Giving them new roles, and then removing any and all chances of a god roll with the weapons that you've brought back. Nitedemon sent me a video of the rolls you could get on the moon weapons prior and the rolls you can get on the moon weapons now. And the moon weapons prior were significantly better rolled than the ones that you can get now. It's not even close. No, I lied. There's one thing that's close. The death in Love and Death. The Love and Death is close, right? Because now instead of full court, spike grenades, and the third really good perk on there, you can't get full court anymore, but instead of full court, you get chain reaction. So that's close. That's still good, right? It's still good. But aside from the Love and Death, none of the weapons come close. So please explain to me the point of bringing back older weapons for this season if you were going to make them ass, Bungie. That makes no sense. But
yeah, I think you've got a fair point for this. And this was another Paul Tassi video basically pointing out, I think in his community, people had pointed to him and said, have you seen this? That the perk pool that originally was on these weapons has completely changed. And
they didn't just add new stuff. They completely changed the pool, right?
And
if you had the old pool,
thing,
but with some of the new perks added to it, that'd be one thing, right? Because then you could take the God roll and possibly make it better. But,
change
like I said, aside from the Love and Death, none of the weapons come close to the damage potential that they had previous, in their previous iterations, right? So I don't have any more of the old moon weapons. I demolished my Love and Death God rolls because I thought they were getting faulted, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody out there still has some of their moon weapons, now that they've been re-released, can you just upgrade your old ones to the current light? Let me know.
You can't.
You can? So they're still light locked?
They're still light locked. And also, Also,
What?
if you'd have hung on to, you can do like a phantasmal fragment and do a weapon bounty. Technically, it's in your inventory. It's like a part of a quest. If
Yeah.
you'd have hung on to one of those, because I think I had a Loud Lullaby one sitting on my Titan all this time, and I hadn't turned it in because I thought there's no point in me turning it in
I'm sitting
to
on
get
quite a few of those.
to
You know
get a
about 'em.
weapon that has got no significance whatsoever. If you turn it in now, it
Uh-huh.
gives you a weapon at light equivalent. So I think I've got 1310, and then it's just the whole new perk pool. So, like you said, there's no real
Oh,
point.
so there's no way to. Okay, I see. So there's no way to get like, because I got a bunch sitting in my inventory right now. So if I turn them in now, even though they were from the previous season, instead of giving me a previous season weapon at its light level, or better yet, current light level, it's just going to give me this season's weapon with this season's perk pool. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, but yeah, in the Paul Tassi video, I completely agree with him, which is why I sent it to you because I knew that you'd be looking at some of these weapons like the Love and Death, and I thought
Yeah.
I'd just let you know just in case you do go end up farming for these things that not to do it. But yeah, I don't understand why take away the perks and not tell us that that's what they were going to do because they were quite open with what they were adding to the perk pool last week with these weapons are coming back and we're adding this to the perk pool. They never said we're removing the full perk pool from previous, so we're giving you a whole new fresh look. I think things like that they need to be open and honest with us. 'Cause
Absolutely. Yeah.
it frustrates the hell out of people, and I can understand them maybe removing one or two perks from the perk pools of those weapons, and maybe changing them to give them a unique feel now. But to remove like 5 or 6 from each perk pool and then just put garbage in, it makes no sense.
It is ridiculous. There's no other way to say it. It's ridiculous. They should not have just completely changed the perk pool if you were going to remove any and all ability to have a god roll. And just
Yeah.
it should have been done that way. There's so many other ways they could have done it better, and they've chose not to, and it's aggravating. It's just aggravating. They shouldn't have done it like that. But moving on, DMG says Nightfall weapon rotation. Looks like things got reset with update 3.2.1 when we added the 4th week. This is what to expect moving forward. This week, plug 1. Next week, Hung Jury. Yes. Following week, Uzumi RR4. And final week of rotation, Palindrome Swarm Shadow Price. We don't have a quick way to fix the calendar. We don't have a quick way to fix the calendar quickly. That's what he wrote. So we're moving forward with this as is. Pardon our dust, and we'll be sure to avoid calendar hiccups like this in the future if we need to tweak any rotations. Cheers. Oh, here we go. Some perks are crazy strong. Some perks are niche, and some perks could use some love. Some could use some toning down. Sandbox will continue to evolve. Never let someone tell you that your favorite tool of destruction isn't good enough, especially if you're having fun with it. Thanks? Question mark? That was from DMG, by the way. Bungie Help says, we're investigating an issue. We're upgrading to the magnificent Solstice armor. Downgrades its power to 1100. Dude, I'm so glad that didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
For those of you that did happen to you, I feel for you, and I'm sorry. I hope at the very least it's good rolls, and maybe you can upgrade it later, but ouch. Also, players should not masterwork the Solstice armor until it's fully upgraded. I figured that out the first time I upgraded it, or the masterwork status will be lost. Yeah, so I was one of those idiots. If you have qualified for this reward, redeem it. Solstice intro. Complete the Solstice. Bleh! Complete the Solstice of Heroes initial campaign step. It's an emblem. It's a pretty decent looking emblem. I redeemed mine the other day, but it's not. If you miss out, it's whatever. But you can earn it if you completed the first step. So there you go.
And you've got till
And
August 24th to
yep.
earn it, and then claim it by August 27th.
Yep. And then we have a bunch of codes. One of them is for Threads of Light emblem. One of them is for Bungee Day emblem. The other one is Symphonic Shift emblem. And the last one is Songs of the Forsaken emblem. So there you go. Got some codes here. Nitedemon's going to put them in the chat. Not the
No,
chat.
not
The
the chat.
I'm not reading all of these out because
Oh,
nobody's going
come
to be
on.
typing them in as we go.
Yeah, they could pause it. So do some phonetic alphabet one.
Threads of Light has two codes. First one is as follows: Tango Delta Charlie dash Papa Delta Kilo dash X-ray X-ray Lima. Second code Yankee Victor 7-3 Tango Kilo bleh, 3 November Charlie. Let me read that again. Second one is Yankee Victor 7-3 Tango Kilo dash 3 November Charlie. Bungee Day 2021 also has two codes. First one is Romeo Juliet November dash Lima 6 Romeo dash 7 Mike 6. Second code 4 Romeo Yankee dash Victor Tango Mike dash Yankee Papa 3. Symphonic Shift has one code, which is Delta Mike Mike dash Papa Charlie Golf dash blah Tango X-ray Alpha. And the last one is Songs of the Forsaken, which is Tango for X-ray dash 6 Alpha Lima dash 6 Kilo Hotel. I'm not repeating them. If you missed it, you missed it.
Just rewind a couple of seconds and listen to him again.
Blah. Okay, there you go.
So tips, tricks, guides, and builds this week. Don't forget to check out the above YouTuber Grandmaster Nightfall guides and the extra ones from Cheese Forever on little hints and tips and all the players for Insight Terminus. And then we have the 1310 Lost Sectors for this current week coming up. And following on from that, I've got my Solstice of Heroes 2021 guides from Planet Destiny. Gaming Animal has the Eververse calendar update. So if you want to have a look at some of the things that I mentioned from that's coming up this week and in the following weeks for Solstice, check that video out because he's got the up-to-date Eververse calendar for pictures for you to have a look at. Ubuntu's has got those two guides on the majestic, renewed, magnificent sets, how to complete those for all the characters. There's the Solstice Key Fragment Fast Find Guide from 360 Game TV, the Path of the Scribe Locations, again from 360 Game TV. Fallout Plays this week has done another shotgun video. So, a shotgun's still good.
Based on how many times I've been killed in PvP by them, I'd say yes. But I haven't watched the video, so I don't know.
I think it's pretty much what we said last week. Shotguns are still going to be shotguns. If you're up close, if you get baited, if people are running at you, shotgunning you, you're still going to die. And again, yeah, I found the same when I was playing, because this week for one of the challenges on the armor pieces, it was go and play competitive PvP. So I jumped into the competitive PvP. There was also a challenge on my challenge card from one of the previous weeks to go and play X amount of competitive, so I went and did that, and it was just shotgun rushes. Although admittedly I wasn't in my best loadout. I just took my Titan who had his Jotun and my messenger, so I wasn't really set up for it to kind of counter these things. I'm thinking of maybe looking at a couple of other builds to kind of combat that, but
well, apparently these new shotgun changes have made it so that Lord of Wolves is back in the meta. Have you seen that video?
we spoke about that last week. That was
No, we didn't. Not Lord of Wolves.
we did.
Was I here for that?
You were here for that.
I don't think I was.
You were.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I saw a video this week about Lord of Wolves being back in the meta. So
yeah, that doesn't mean that we didn't talk about it last week. We did talk about it last week. And side note on that, I do believe that Destiny Fun Plays, who's heavily into these shotguns, especially the Chaperone and the Duality, has found out that those have got a subsequent nerf. These are the slug shotguns. So Chaperone's range has been brought down by like a meter, and the same with Duality. If you want to look at those, he's got two separate videos on those. I'll try and find those and stick those in the show notes if you are interested in what he found out. True Vanguard goes over the new PvP meta for this season. Admittedly, he jumped in day one, and he goes over a couple of weapons that you may want to kind of take a look at to combat some of the changes. And if you want to change up from being a shotgun ape, it might be the video for you. Also, Cool Guy this week has pointed out in his new video, melee is back, and several builds or several ideas of how to pair with weapons and combinations of exotics on bringing back the melee, because it is back because of the shotgun nerf, which is quite nice. So Titans with their Insurmountable Skull Fort, their Syntheseps, so Peroty will be happy. You've got the Ophidian aspects for the Warlocks, which extend the melee range, which are really good for those. And then you've got, I don't think, he touched briefly on some of the Hunter ones, but the Hunters are quite deadly with their, they can do a melee dodge and get their melee ability recharged. So, yeah, again, melee is back. And then a fun, cool little video from Above, the YouTuber Above, Respawn. He's done why you should always reset your Valor. Hashtag movie of the week. And it is definitely worth a movie of the week. It's very, very funny. So go and watch that. Check that out. That will be in the show notes if anyone's interested in seeing that. So Respawn, are you looking for a Teenage Clan on PC, PS4, Xbox?
Nope. But I can tell you who is.
Ah, okay. Go on then.
No, I lied. I can't tell you who is. What I can't tell you. I don't know who is, but there's a clan looking for people. Whether or not you're people looking for a clan, that's another story. The name of this is the Abaddon. Is that the name of it? Yeah, the Abaddon. Which, by the way, is one of the worst demons you can come across. I don't know if you know much about theology, but Abaddon is the only demon that both angels and demons fear. Because he's not inherently evil. He's just a badass.
Not necessarily. Yeah. They all fear the Night Demon as well.
Anyway, so good name, especially if you're into theology. If you're looking for a teenage clan for PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One for Destiny 2, you're looking for a teenager-friendly Destiny 2 clan, we are at Righteous. I'm sorry. We at Righteous are a friendly clan made up of teenagers. Okay, so the clan name is Righteous, not Abaddon. I see. All right. So the clan name is Righteous. They're a friendly clan who are made up of teen. Under.
What happens when you hit 18? Do they kick you out?
That's I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
Just don't tell them how old you are. Dun, dun, dun. The goal at the Righteous is to create a comfortable environment for Guardians our age to play Destiny 2 in, and not have to worry about others being double their age. As of now, we have a total of 53 Guardians. 23 of us are on PC. We have 25 on PS4, and 11 are on Xbox. Wait. So 23 plus 25, right there alone, is 51. Plus 11 is 62.
23
right?
plus 25 is 48.
48, yeah. And then that's 58, 59.
Let's not math, because they may be accounting for people that are cross-play at the moment. Like you're on PC and you play Xbox.
Yeah. With crossplay releasing very soon, it would unite us all. We're open to all kinds of Destiny 2 players, as long as you're under 18. So if you started playing a few days ago or have been a part of the game since Destiny 1, you're welcome to join. We do use Discord to communicate. We also have a Me6 economy system, I don't know what that is, in our server, which many of our members find very fun. You know what that is? Me6? No? Okay. There's a verification system in order to confirm the clan is safe and comfortable environment. Verifying is not a hard process. All that is required is evidence of your age. Oh, they're serious about this age thing. You do not need photos of yourself or any personal information, just evidence of your age. This could be a date of birth, school classes, anything that verifies your age. DM me if you'd like to join, and we will get the ball rolling then. Thanks for reading. Well, I have an anime shirt. Does that mean I'm under 18? Anyway,
I will link the Reddit post and the clan link on the Bungie page if anybody's interested. Those guys up. So Fuzz, as you're here, is there anything else that you want to kind of discuss with us two about Destiny?
When are we expecting that crossplay thing to come through?
Well, I think the new season starts on August 25th. So,
and
possibly then?
How quickly can I train you to do the divinity runs so you can start taking care of it?
I learn pretty quickly. I just,
And
I just like to mess about with Respawn when he's trying to tell people what to do.
that he did.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to get to hang out. Look forward to raiding with Nitedemon. Come crossplay. And I mean, I feel like that's one of the better things Bungie's finally doing, even though they could have done it a year ago.
You say they could have
Imagine
done it
just
a year ago, but could they?
why not?
How many? There are a bunch of other games who do crossplay,
Oh, yeah.
and as soon as they did the system linking, they could have. I mean, the balance is going to be crap, but it already is between mouse and keyboard and controller players. So
It is. It definitely is. But I'm just looking forward to crossplay in general because there's a lot of people that are going to be happy once crossplay is live because they're all like, "Hey, Respawn, you want to come play? My Xbox is 3 time zones away, dude. I'd love to, but I didn't bring it." So, in general, I think it's going to be fun. Demon will be able to play more on a platform where you can actually have more than 7 frames. Sorry, that's never not going to be funny.
those are a
Um,
quality 7 frames, sir.
No, that is a slideshow. That is Destiny via Microsoft freaking PowerPoint. But doesn't matter. I'm just looking forward to crossplay for a lot of reasons. I have a feeling, Fuzz, we're gonna be doing a lot more raids come crossplay, dude. Like, not just the newest raid, like all of the raids. So, gonna be fun. Mix skizzle dizzle.
So, Fuzz, from what I'm getting from today's conversation with you, is that you'd like some more improvements in strikes to make them more playable, to go back and play. So, would you like to see strike scoring come back from Destiny 1, or like the different modifiers that we had? You remember when Destiny 2 originally opened up and we had the Nightfalls that you had to jump through hoops to get the time, or you had to run over the pools of light to kind of get the time? Little things like that to improve or just change the strikes up, as well as maybe bring some other strikes back. What do you think?
I don't remember anything that you're talking about. Do you,
So
Fuzz?
the whole motes of time was interesting, but
Hmm.
ultimately a frustrating mechanic.
It was.
But it was fun on occasion. More than anything, variety.
But
Because
say, sorry,
like today, I was running strikes while we were recording,
yeah,
and I did that god awful hive one on the moon. I don't remember what it's called.
yeah.
Help me out here. I did that 4 of my 6 strikes
Ooh.
from the pool. That is so disheartening and just like dragging on my soul that I'm just sitting there doing the same strike again and again. And she's got those stupid damage gates if you don't get that initial damage pop off.
Yeah,
And it's just, why? So, I mean, some variety, some better rewards, something. I'd like to see them put the same amount of effort into the gameplay that they do the Eververse.
yeah. I mean, say like with like the little pools of time that you had to collect. Say if you like you do at the moment with Grandmasters, if you kill all the champions as you go along, you have a higher chance at getting like the cores or an exotic to drop. Maybe if they did that in strikes, that if you collected all the pools of light, or you went to all the different rings, or you did X amount of something to beat it in a certain amount of time, you had more of a chance to get exotic shards, the golf balls. Just a chance at that in a regular strike would be nice than just have the drops at the end, 2 blues and a whatever. Just and a thank you very much, pat on the back. You've done your 3 strikes of the week. You've got your pinnacle, and you can get out of here. I think they need to make them more desirable to play over and over again. The repeatableness of, maybe have the shots, the strike scoring as well, like we had in Destiny 1. Put the leaderboard up. The featured strike for this week, if you can get into it, is going to be the one on the moon, like you just said. You'll have higher chance to play it this week in the strike rotation. but you've got a higher chance if for say instance you are the group that managed to do it in the strike playlist for that week and you get the highest score, maybe Bungie give you an exclusive emblem for doing it for that week. And it is a specific emblem for that strike each week. So they have a different emblem for each strike at hitting whatever, if you're number 1, number 2, number 3, a different version, maybe a different color for each version, but very similar. Just more stuff to attain, really.
Looter shooters gotta have loot.
Mm.
Yeah, or just if the strikes would drop you an enhancement core, guaranteed or something, because
know
you
you can
don't
put
get
stuff on your
anything from
ghosts.
it.
You can put stuff on your ghost to enhance that, but if they made like the strike scoring something there to give you to attain, I think that would entice people more to go and play those activities. The same with Gambit. I mean, we had that post, I think somebody a couple of weeks back.
We don't
in
play
your-
Gambit here.
In one of your respawn reports, somebody was saying that I've paid X amount of hours, but the amount of points that I get for a loss is nothing compared to when I get on a winning streak, which is
Right.
how I feel when I'm playing Gambit. Like, I'll go and play, and I play, just normal. I just click the button and go and play Gambit. Sometimes I'm not on with a group, so we can't pub stomp everybody, and I end up like on a 10 losing streak, and the points are ridiculous. And there's no incentive for me to actually play that playlist unless I kind of play it through once to reset my infamy, and that's it. I've got my golf ball out of it. I don't need to do it again. I've got the emblem. Why would I put myself through that again unless I'm going for the title? And then I don't want to do the title because I've already got it. I got it the first time that it came around. It doesn't interest me to then go back in and beat my head against the wall for the points that don't really matter. Yes, I can put things on my ghost and have the chance at getting X amount of things, but
It's
yeah,
not fun.
I found it fun before they changed it.
Right, but you just said you're not going to go do the grind for the stuff because you don't enjoy it.
Now I don't enjoy it.
Right. It's lacking the fun factor.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to grind for rewards, you're going to play it because it's fun. If it's not fun and there's no rewards, why am I going to do it?
Mm. There needs to be something in there as well that's, more than just
Again,
Dredgen +2.
If there's not going to be rewards, it needs to be a fun game mode, not, I'm either rolling with 4 guys from the clan and we are just, stomping everything, or if I have to solo queue and I might as well just AFK because we're going to get put up against a 4 stack and get stomped.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
something.
So you don't play that game mode at all then?
No. No, I don't. Like unless someone's got a quest or something and like I'm helping someone with a quest line, or there are 3 other people going, "Hey, you want to be our 4th for Gambit?" Then I'll play Gambit. But other than that,
Yeah.
I wasn't even doing Gambit for the pinnacles.
No, I don't think I was as well.
It's just one of those, I don't like this. I'm not going to do it, not even for the pinnacle.
I don't know why people always hating on Gambit, man. Gambit's fun. I like Gambit.
It was fun. I will say that I did play. I regularly enjoyed playing Gambit. Not last season, but before they did the big change of everything and got rid of Gambit Prime. I enjoyed playing like the 2 different modes. I had the choice, but yeah, since they've changed it, and there's something that it's not.
Glad I
really...
spent time getting all that armor.
Yeah. I've still got.
Yeah, I wish they'd have brought back the Gambit armor though, in like the really cool one with the red glows and the green glows and the yellow glows. Oh my god! But they didn't. Even if you unlocked it, they didn't bring it back. You got the medium glow versions.
It's an
dumb.
So how do you feel about the Lost Sectors, the 310s or the 330s? The Master and the Grandmaster
I still don't have the Helm of Bacchus after 42 runs. So not great.
It's something that's enticing you to keep going back and playing.
Oh no, I stopped doing them. Okay. I just don't do them anymore. The drop rate's not there. And the fact that I can get nothing from a chest really, really makes me feel good about doing those. Oh, look, you got a blue. Hey, you got 500 glimmer. Congratulations, you got nothing.
Right?
I mean,
I do agree with you. If you are soloing those things, then there should be more than just a couple of blues at the end of it, and maybe an enhancement core. Just
like when I got
if you manage to solo flawless it, like there are some triumphs for it, maybe you should be guaranteed something from it. That would give more people incentive to actually try and go in there without dying. And maybe there's a mode that you can select that's solo flawless attempt, and you get a golf ball at the end of it. You don't get any lives, so if you do die, it automatically kicks you out. Something like that. So you automatically get a golf ball and a chance at getting one of those exotics or an exotic as well.
yeah, it's something, but the drop rate is not there or rewarding. Like the Falling Stars Curus, I got on my second run on my Titan.
Yeah.
That was, awesome, great. Haven't touched it since because after that exotic, the rewards aren't worth the effort.
But then don't you go back in and see if you can get a different roll of it? Because maybe that first one, like many of them, isn't the best one that you get. You have a chance at then going back and playing it to get a different roll, and it's a higher chance of getting the newer exotics than it is the older ones.
But that would require it to actually drop for me. And I mentioned earlier that my RNG luck is not what you would call good.
Okay.
Look,
But
like I said, 42 runs, no Helm of Bacchus, the only exotic I'm missing in the game.
but it keeps you going back with the thought of maybe going back and getting it.
No, it's I really hope it doesn't become meta of some kind because I'm not going to go get it.
But what do you think in general for exotics? Do you think in general exotics drop far too frequently?
Not for the way the random rolls are associated armor pieces. I still don't have great rolls on a Celestial Nighthawk, and I've been looking for a good roll on one of those for 2 years.
Okay. But yeah, so you don't feel that there's too many exotics dropping in the game if you're playing constantly? Like if you go
No,
and
not
do a
really.
Grandmaster, you get a stronger chance. You do the whatever the lost sectors. Okay.
But I mean, I've got the weapons, so all I'm really going for is new armor rolls.
Yeah.
And again, you run into the problem that most of those pieces of armor are just shiny collector's toys and don't actually have a place in the meta. So there's a handful of armors I'm actually looking for.
But then, if you're only looking for a handful of armors, why don't you use the legendary lost sectors and the master lost sectors to then see if you can get rolls on those armor pieces? Because
Very
say,
bad drop rate.
but if you do the master versions, you have a lot higher chance at getting those.
You say higher chance, and it's still like I might get one every 12 to 15 runs.
Okay.
Those are about my numbers. Like I realize not everyone's numbers are as bad as mine, but that's
No.
about the average I'm running, somewhere in there. So at that point it becomes, is what I have good enough versus the potential time investment for a chance at a better role? Or could I go do something with, my friends in the team looter shooter that's actually fun and I
Yeah.
will enjoy? Or I could go, Sherpa a new clanmate through a raid, or work on a new raid title or a triumph, or just anything else. Like if I'm alone and there's nobody online and I just, want to go kill some aliens for a half hour, yeah, okay, I'll drop into one of those lost sectors. But as like a primary use of my time to try and farm the exotic, drop rate's not good enough for me. Like to justify the time expenditure because I work, I've got a life, I've got responsibilities, so it's not like I can be a streamer and play for 12 hours a day and get paid for it.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
I've got your, cliche 9 to 5, and I come home and, I want to enjoy what I play or feel like I've accomplished something or working towards something. and you go, 10 runs, I get an exotic that I wasn't looking for, and it's a bad roll, and you're like, all right, well, great, that was a waste of time. Let's put it for shards.
Yeah. Anything else you can think of that you'd like to discuss with the game?
No, other than I look forward to giving the Master Vogue a chance and getting back to you with you guys on how you feel about it, or how I feel about it with some of our raiders.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool to get some feedback.
What's
on
the
that.
minimum for that again? Fuzz?
1335.
35. Yep, I'm still 2 lights short. Oh well.
Sad face emoji for you.
Sad face emoji for me.
I'm there, and it's one of those, we just got to figure out who else is there, and then pick up some folks in LFG to round out the numbers, because I know, again, a lot of our raider folks this season are bored with the seasonal activity again. Loot's not there, it's not fun, it's just another Vex slog. So they kind of, play the story missions, go, huh, that was cool, I like the way this is going, and then they don't play. Or they do the Vogue challenge and they get off.
Yep.
So you're not liking the expunge missions to get the weapons and the overrides?
I mean, they're okay. They're not. I don't hate
Some of the
them.
weapons are nice.
Yeah, some of the weapons are nice, but I'm not thrilled. I don't like the recaster again. I still think it's not as good as when it originally came out, because we are playing slot machines with a grindable resource, and I feel like the original way, because I remember having to do about 60 rolls for a gnawing hunger before I got my god roll, and I just don't, get. Hold on, what are they called? I'm sitting in the helm.
And you could get very specifically a weapon, not a choice between that weapon and another one, right? For the first time? Because right now it's a 50-50. You can get a machine gun or a pulse rifle. Or you can get a grenade launcher or a machine gun.
Right.
Or, hold on,
So
let me just check.
you're at a 50-50 on whether you're going to get the gun you want, and then you've got to roll the slot machine on your perks.
Right.
And
But the
to
first
pick,
season, you could very specifically pick what weapon you wanted, right? To roll on?
no, it was still a 50-50, but the thing was, it
Oh.
didn't cost a very large amount of seasonal currency. I think it was just shards. It was something that was like stupidly cheap, so you could just keep rolling. And my limiting resource there was the umbral engrams.
Yeah.
And like for the Season of the Splicer, again, the decrypted data is my limiting resource, which is the resource you have to put in to focus the umbral engrams. And the amount of time it takes to grind that stupid resource to
Speaking of resources, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But this season,
you're wrong.
the same resource you use to decrypt or focus an engram is the same resource you have to use to unlock stuff for the servitor, right?
Correct.
But in past seasons, weren't those two different resources? One resource would unlock, let's say, the interactable, in this case is our servitor, and another resource was being used to focus them, wasn't it?
That is also correct.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so, because I was like, having the same resource for both is stupid. Because you can pick to either upgrade the servitor or focus an engram, but you can't do both.
Because
that's stupid.
I'm sitting, I don't have my Splicer Gauntlet fully upgraded yet.
Mm-hmm.
And do I focus engrams or do I upgrade the Gauntlet? Like, where's the give and take here? Like, what can I justify? Hoping that the roll is good, that I wasted that resource, so I have to go grind out a couple more overrides.
and none of the servitors, at least in previous seasons, they had nodes which would make at least one aspect of this cycle cheaper to do. But this one doesn't. This one doesn't make any of the resources cheaper in the cycle. I don't think it does. Let me double check, but no. I mean, all the resources cost the same from beginning to end. All the servitor does is make the encounters easier for you, or to like have a chance to have a thing spawn which will drop resources for you or whatever, right? So you have additional platforms. Well, that's useless, right? This one is the chests have increased rewards. Okay, whatever. Laser wall defenses don't hurt as much. Meh. Defend combatants now have a higher chance to drop ether. Higher chance is still a low chance, so that's kind of meh. Ammo replenished by ammo crates is slightly increased. The ether capacity is increased for your gauntlet. Again, not cheaper, just higher capacity. And corrupted Vex chests can now drop one piece of seasonal gear with high stat. Right? That's it. Nothing in the servitor makes the resources cheaper to focus engrams, or makes them more plentiful by a nominal amount to focus engrams. So it's just, and then you have to use the same resource to do both. So they've doubled what you need the resources to do, and have given you no way to make any part of this process cheaper.
And that boils down again to my time investment versus potential reward argument, because a lot of
Right.
people
Yeah.
are, like you or myself or Respawn here, and we work, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, we have a limited amount of time to play. We have, lives and families and stuff that also require attention. So, is it worth that, time and effort here to do that when it's also not, inherently enjoyable?
Yeah.
Mm.
And you can't force your kids to do it because they have their own accounts they want to do it on. So daggone it.
I mean, I did enjoy Season of what was it? Season of Dawn, where we had the obelisks and we had the sundial. So you could literally play the sundial, get the whatever the currency was, and then at the end of the sundial, you could then turn it into the sundial to get the different weapons that you wanted, or you could go to the different obelisks on the different planets and bung the resources into those and get specific weapons, and you could just target those specific weapons. Because I remember like getting, I think it was the Traveler's Chosen.
Oh, I was all
wasn't it?
about those steel feather repeater rolls.
Oh, that was so good.
But yes,
Steel Feather
Ah,
Repeater,
goodness, so
Traveler's
good.
Judgment 5. I plowed so many of those resources, and it was just as simple as play the activity, get the resources, and plonk it straight in the thing. And I understand that that's kind of what they're doing now, but they've added that yin and yang version of, oh, it could be this or that. And you're like, I don't want this or that. I just
But they're
want to
not doing
plow
that.
it.
That's the whole point. Is before you would just plug your resources
Yeah.
into your engrams to decrypt them, but now you have to divide those resources between either upgrading the gauntlet or focusing an engram.
Oh no, it was Season of Dawn. Sorry, where we had the obelisks and the sundial. But I'm saying you didn't even have engrams at that point. You just put the resources into the obelisks or at the end of the sundial to get a chance at the weapon, and you clicked on the weapon that you wanted. It wasn't, oh, you could
Yes,
get
that
a
was perfect.
sidearm
I
or a
loved
shotgun
it.
and you have a 50-50 chance. It was just you pick what you want. And at the moment,
That's what I was
what we're
referring
getting.
to, Fuzz.
Yeah.
When you could actually pick the weapon that you wanted to get a roll on.
yeah.
And then
I-
one of the upgrades was it would give you double rolls. So you pick the steel feather repeater, and instead of getting one steel feather repeater, you got two steel feather repeaters. So you
Yeah,
got double the chance of getting the god roll. No, that was perfect.
Yeah,
I
it was in the
loved that.
it was in the vein of the menagerie, and
Yep.
based on anecdotal evidence, menagerie is still damn near everybody's favorite seasonal activity.
Yeah, and when they improved it so that you could, the amount of you pop the chest once and it gave you like the 3 or 4 rolls of the one specific thing that you wanted to get. That was the best time. I mean, apart from having to run backwards and forwards through the different spawn locations and charge up whatever it was, the chalice, wasn't it? And then see how many rolls you could get that way. I mean, where people were running backwards and forwards 5 times to get 5 different rolls. I think
Right, but
Bungie saw that.
you felt like you had a chance of getting the roll you wanted when you were getting like 2
Yeah.
or 3 of the gun, and you could choose what you were getting.
Yeah.
Not a coin toss if you're going to get it and hope that it's a roll you want. On top of having to use that resource to, make it easier. Like what would it have been if you had to use the runes to upgrade the chalice and on top of picking weapons with the runes?
Yeah.
That would have caused problems. It's again a resource management issue, and Bungie has had resource issues since the onset of Destiny 2, and they just keep adding more.
I mean, I think the only way that they can counter that if they bring it back to you pick the specific weapon that you want, and you can just go after that weapon as many times as you like. Is that they'd have to expand the perk pools on those weapons to stop people from getting the god rolls straight off the bat. There's more of a chance
And
that
that'll give you
all these
more
random different rolls.
more potential unique possibilities for that gun. You can try new perk
Yeah.
combinations. I see no
Yeah.
problem with that.
No, I don't either. I enjoyed trying to get the Traveler's Chosen or the Traveler's Judgment that I really, really wanted. I didn't get the God roll, but I got 2 rolls that were kind of good for me at the time. And I've still got those in my vault.
Okay,
I
you didn't
can't
get
let
the
go of
god
them.
roll and you were able to get double rolls on the weapon you picked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So that there, the slot machine right there is working against you, and now you have of the chances you had to get a god roll there, you have 25% of that chance before now.
Mm.
Because now you're only getting one weapon, and it's a coin toss to whether you get that weapon or another weapon. So it's half and half
Pretty much.
again, and the reward doesn't feel worth the grind for a lot of it.
Well, all right then. Yeah, no, I mean, completely understandable. Hopefully, Bungie, they're moving forward, and I'm using air quotes there, moving forward to try to, change things for the better, but they're just moving away from a good thing that they had, right? So the original one that Demon was talking about, where you could pick that very specific weapon and then choose to have a roll of that very specific weapon, that was the best. That's what they should have, done and stayed doing that, but they've chosen not to, and I don't understand why. So whatever.
I think that's all I've got, Night Demon.
Well, unless there's anything else, I have to get ready to go to a Brazilian festival here in Florida.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right.
Well, then I'm going to have to do an ending. It's lucky I've written this
You
down,
are.
so I know what I'm saying.
Aw, it's more fun when you don't know what you're saying.
I know, but that's why I have to write it down. So thank you for joining us. The Titans of this ensemble are myself, Night Demon, and the missing in action for the 2nd week in a row, Peroty. Your hunter is the leader of the Respawn army, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life.
What's
Our
up?
law scribe, staking out Grandma Stranger Danger, is not Arf. Still not back with us. There is some more lore coming. I have got it. He has recorded it. It is there somewhere. Just having time to edit it and get it in the show. Your guest parody for this week has been the phenomenal Fuzko. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. We are on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. You can find us on Facebook at twotitansandahunter. Find your favourite Guardians on Xbox Live, Respawn on PC, Fuzko on PC, because apparently he does Rage Shoppers. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. And that's it. I'm just going to leave you, just like that.
Oh no.
Say goodbye, guys.
Deuces.
Happy hunting and throw more grenades, Guardians.
Bye.